दलोस कैसे हो दलोस? What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? How is everybody doing, dudes? How is everybody doing? Good morning. कुछ लोगों को good afternoon, कुछ लोगों को hello, 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 hello. 1 बजे से आना था, मैं सोया 11 बजे हूँ. 1 बजे आएगा तो करके आता था मैं. 1 बजे उठ के मेरे को 20 मिनट ऐसा प्रिपेयर होने का टाइम था. करना है अभी स्ट्रीम, इसके बाद 4 बजे एक और स्ट्रीम, उसके बाद 8 बजे एक और स्ट्रीम. प्रिपरेशंस को लगता है भाई 15-20 मिनट टाइम, ऐसे नहीं उठ के बैठ सकते भाई. देखो बात सिंपल है, हो सकता है कि ये शॉर्ट स्ट्रीम हो, ठीक है. 15 मिनट में मैं स्ट्रीम एंड कर दूं. 13-0 2 बार मेरे को लीक्स आ चुका है, 2 बार. इट्स वंस इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ द लाइफ टाइम ऑफ द ई स्पोर्ट्स कि 2 बार 13-0 करके जी जीतने वाला है आज. लेट्स गो. आ जाएगा ना मजा भिड़ो. तीन सेंटेंस भाई मत करो यार, क्या बात कर रहे हो? अभी भी वही है. देखते 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 देखते.
절대 안 지고 이겨보겠습니다. 이번 스테이지1도 제럭스가 가져가겠습니다.
मैं वॉच पार्टी चल रही भाई, कैम उधर कर
저희 알파조에 우승팀들이 많이 모여. 이거 말이 좀 어려워요. 퍼시픽 챔피언들이 다 모여 있어. 저희 알파조에 퍼시픽 챔피언들이 다 모여 있잖아요.
तेरा भाई भी टेक्सचर से कम है क्या?
그 챔피언들끼리
2x करने करना आराम से देखो जीतते हुए.
그것도 재밌을 것 같아요.
2x कर.
저희가 킥오프 때 좀 많은 시련들이 있었지만 그래도 방콕은 갈 수 있지 않을까라는 생각은 하고 있었는데
नो साउंड.
못 가게 돼서 좀 개인적으로는 충격이.
क्या साउंड नहीं आ रहा भाई तेरे को?
일단 제가 잘해줘야지.
बहुत कम है ये वाला.
있다고 생각을 해서
ये लो.
제가 개인적으로 노력했습니다.
알파조에 뭐
And good
증명한
sleep?
팀들이 많아서 전부 다 경제 상대라고 생각하고 있고요.
일단 당연히 젠진 들어가고 그다음 BRX.
ए बेंगी गेमिंग हेलो. नोटिफिकेशन नहीं है अबे, डरते हैं क्या? दिन में 5 स्ट्रीम करेगा, कहाँ से नोटिफिकेशन आएगा?
잘하던데요.
ペパレックス戦に勝った後は、周りからもすごく褒められたんですけど、自分たちの納得いく結果ではなかったので、マスターズを目指してもっと。
मैं बोलता भाई ये मैं बहुत मारता है भाई. 2x
그래프
कर.
알파냐 민나 버식優勝
अपन किसमें देख रहे हैं? कहाँ 2x करना है भाई? किधर है? क्या हो रहा है?
グループアルファの方が、多分6分の4が突破できると思うんですけど、その4に入るのが難しいかなと思ってるんですけど、最終的にどのチームも勝たなきゃいけないっていうのは同じなので、グループアルファですけど突破できるように頑張りたいと思ってます。
About our group, I will say, it's the same thing with Omega. Have insane teams, have just good teams, have decent teams. So just like basically,
कौन बोला बे?
just need to
समथिंग नहीं है करके?
to the tournament, to the stage 1, and start immediately being stronger,
10x कर.
being strong on the stage.
I think BRX is traditional powerhouse in Pacific.
By the way guys, जो लोग कल एनए का वॉच पार्टी मिस किया, हम लोग ने बहुत सारा माइलस्टोन्स कंप्लीट किया. 335 के सब्स हो गए हैं. वेरी 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 डब्ल्यू. और थैंक्स टू द सपोर्टर हम लोग ने 1350 गिफ्टेड मेंबर्स क्रॉस किए हैं. दिस इज द हाईएस्ट एवर इन दिस चैनल. I have checked it. It's the highest in a month. So yeah.
Defeating them.
Yep.
Okay, so going into stage
Yep,
one, since
yep,
you have had
baby,
more time
yep,
to prepare,
baby.
we'll be more confident and just trust in our practice.
जा रहे आगे
And
जा
with
रहे
that,
अपन
we'll
जाके
take
जा
on the
रहे.
rest of the teams.
We play a match like in scrims. I think we're pretty confident that we're gonna like at least make it to top 4 in Alpha Group. We will be a
का कोई
different
चांस है
squad
विजिट
than what you
पैसिफिक में?
expect.
ये लोग का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का क्या तो फिर?
저희 첫 상대가 붐인데 그냥 이길게요.
change the roster this year. I have a big respect for the 3 players, but for other 2, I don't know who are they.
मतलब अभी बस जी को जीतने का है and it's a W day.
Our goal for a stage 1, destroying everyone.
Gifted members
So
13
see what the
yes.
rest of the team
Gifted
think,
members.
because we also think that they are all the
खुद
weakest.
से
in the
भी
group.
है काफी.
2025년은 DRX 해가 될 겁니다.
मैथ्स करने नहीं बोला है, अचीवमेंट को वो करने बोला है. मैथ्स करने बैठ गए.
マスターズリーに日本チームがいるテスト
いっぺで
に出れたらなと思います。No, it's
मच्छर
just
का
to
प्यार ये
weekend
लो.
वाला।
अरे तू सुपर चैट करना. मेरे को वो नहीं मैटर करता. 50%. थैंक यू फॉर द 120 जी पे मेरी जान की टोटे. भाई अभी भाई कुछ भाई स्टेज देखने का है.
2025 VCT Pacific, Stage 1.
है बड़ी.
Rise Pacific.
कौन बनेगा? पैसिफिक विनर वाइब्स आ रहा है. हार्बर बोलते. मतलब हार्बर को बफ मिलने वाला है. सिंपल बात है, हार्बर को बफ मिलने वाला है.
Detonation Focus Me.
टोटल मेंबर्स 1-2 लोगों ने लिया है यार खुद से.
Woo! Here we go, VCT Pacific.
Aye.
Now we got DFM and
Yeah.
Global Esports kicking off our
Yeah.
very first day of Stage 1. We got 2 teams. You're showing massive improvements, definitely working and upgrading on those workouts.
ऐसे जाना भी.
And workouts.
ठीक है.
And we got 2
Return
teams
जाते वक्त
looking
भी
to
ऐसे ही
prove
जाना.
what they're made of. DFM is looking fresh, very different look than how they ended kickoff just 2 months ago.
Yeah, they're feeling good now. I mean, they surprised in kickoff. They had a great
बंदे
off-season.
लोग हैं
They
ना?
couldn't convert it all the way, and now is their time to really show everybody what they're about. Can they live up to all this hype? You know, we know they beat PRX in
Global
kickoff, but is that going to be enough?
Sign
Can
it
you
up,
carry
guys,
that
sign
through?
it
That's the big question
up.
for today.
And of course, the big question for Global Esports.
आ गए
now
भाई
with Patrick,
पैट्रिक
who
वेयर.
he's
I
here.
mean
He's
who?
finally here on Korean soil, and
तो
he's
उसका-
really ready to join the
उसका
rest
height
of his
क्या है भाई?
squad here.
क्रिस्टल
And
का?
we saw
हेलो?
a lot of promise from the squad already. Pilski, is this the final
आ गया
piece to bring them to the top?
कैमरा ऐसे
They
लेना
started
पड़ा.
really strong in kickoff and they need to do so again here. A game against DFM is a game that you must win when you're talking about a round robin format. There can be no slow starts here, or it may
भाई, ये गाना बाप
necessitate
है.
you to upset one of the top teams in the group later on if you want to make the playoffs.
And we do have 2
Yes,
IGLs on
Mamu.
both sides who are, I have to say, they
मत
are
करो
the
यार, अच्छा
stars
team है.
of their squads. They've done
पहले
so
जैसा
much for their
DFM नहीं है,
teams.
मत करो,
How
अभी
do
बोल
you
रहा हूँ.
feel they're going to be matching up
आ
today
गए, आ
versus
गए, आ
versus
गए, आ
Northern
गए.
Lights and Juvenile getting ready to go? These 2 teams had a lot of time to prep.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting how both of these teams call. I think GE will lean towards that more structured approach. DFM a little bit looser in how they play. Rewatching that game from
Reina
kickoff,
कहाँ गया?
I felt
Reina
like
ठीक
the
हो रहा है.
calling from DFM was so on point, and that was a huge part of what got them that win. So I really want to see if they're able to continue that through to today. Because if so, I think there's a world where they could look very dominant.
I think GE are going to show us another gear where they can see the lineup that they originally thought in the way that they planned it. They're not just going to have to rely on individuals making big plays, players like Papi clutching in those initial games, Udatan popping off on the duelist. We're going to see what this lineup was put together for, and is that going to be good enough to beat a DFM who started off the year so strong?
Now, you guys didn't seem very inspired by the map draft, I have to say.
It's not inspiring. They're not playing any of the new maps.
But, I mean,
This is bad.
maybe
Thank you for the
with
membership.
Patrick here, things
Reina का
might
GG
be
कैसे
changing
हुआ?
up a
अपडेट
bit.
आ रहा है, वो आ
You've got
जाएगा.
a Yoru in this.
Yeah, the GE comp is very interesting. I think it's obviously breach terror style. Yoru is able to take that space really well. When they get to defense, expect a lot of
Yes!
plays off that side for utility. You have a lot of punish. Very different stylistically to what
हो गया
DFM are
मेरा.
doing.
I mean, DFM, it's the stock
हो
standard.
गया
It's
भाई.
the old Gen G
Proper
comp. You
comp
mix
लिया,
in the
proper.
vice with that. You've seen the popularity of changing up those walls on defense, of using the Arc Lotus to be able to aggress or get info. So I think for DFM, it's a bit more of a standardized comp from them.
Now, we didn't get to
मैं
hear your
और कौन है
prediction
जिसने
for
मुझे टाइम और
Global
दिया?
Esports, Morgan.
पिंकी ने मुझे
Why
परमिशन दिया था
have you
तुझे गाली देने का. Love you,
Why
love
have
you
we
too.
picked Global Esports today?
बहुत सारे
I'm a
नोट डाउन
Patrick
करो.
who believer. I believe in the rematch curse. I just
बच
think
गए.
now's that time.
All right, now to bring us through this, we got the Masters Grand Finals casters to take us through Lotus. We've got Helios and Paperthin.
बात तो है.
Hello, thank you very much. I'd like to say we did not ask for that introduction. We're just a couple of guys. That's all.
Just
But
couple
anyway,
chill guys. Couple chill guys.
Chill guys.
Anyway,
Actually,
welcome
chill.
back. Stage 1, ready to begin. Always a pleasure to be back in the arena. Anytime we have a break, we're just like, got any more of that work for us? When's that going to start again?
You got any more of that Valorant?
Because we like our jobs. So happy to be back in the studio and ready to dive into the series, which is a very interesting one. DFM looking very strong during kickoff with the upgrades here. Global Esports, similar scenes, but now with their full original intended 5-man roster.
Bye.
This should be a hell of a clash.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot
It's
to prove
gonna
for both
be
of these
easy
teams here
cake
today.
in the walk.
You know, they squared up against each other once
Walk in the
during
park.
kickoff. It was DFM who won 2-0. Granted, the split was very close.
Walk in the
Abyss
park.
isn't in the map pool here for DFM. A
एक
map
G
that
fan
they
नहीं है
really
ना.
relied
रुको
on
आने
to
दो
get
मेरे
them
को
some
उधर.
big wins. But I think if you look at this group,
अभी
if
नहीं
you
आ रहा
look
तो
at the
क्या
way
हुआ?
that this is
Next time.
going to shape out, in my mind, this is almost a must-win for both of
Cakewalk,
these teams
yeah,
already.
वही.
This group is stacked. This group is deadly. This group has all of the Pacific champions in it. Can DFM or GE find a way to get a win here? Find a way to get themselves into the playoffs
चलो
as
भाई.
we begin the road
पहला
to
राउंड
Masters
पैट्रिक भाई
Toronto.
का एस है. सेकंड राउंड कुछ खेलो.
Alrighty, well, let us find out. Take a look here.
सेकंड राउंड चालू करो.
Global
चलो.
Esports have not been the pistol princes that they have been in the past. It's been DFM who overall have looked quite good in that regard. Let's see if that's going to continue. If
Hey,
Global
don't
can start
live in the
trending
past,
back
buddy.
in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, pistol rounds are a lot of, you know,
Think
hard
मत कर, मैं
reads
नहीं
or
कर
just,
रहा यार
you know, maybe
कुछ.
somebody pops off with the ghost, hits some heads. But they're so important right now in the Valorant meta, right? You're going to hear this all over the place that because of the way the economy works, because of guns like the Outlaw that are available, it's really easy to win bonuses, maybe compared to days of old. A little bit of a peek out there. Patrick who spots it.
But this is all just to try to keep this disguised here.
It's all a ruse.
In behind the box, waiting for his timing, sees the fake out. Clone, swings the corner, finds a headshot. Patrick Koo, welcome to the stage. You have to wait for that second round to begin. You're on the floor.
Well, the good news for GE is they did sell this fake well enough. They kept 3 players from DFM on the other side of the map.
Rishi
so
bhai,
they're
I just
able,
want to tell you I
to sneak their
love
way
you, huh?
through. Yudotan did take some damage. Slowed up by the vines. Good
Swing on the
flash.
corner, the flash is there, but
10 का
Climb
damage
one,
free का
Prowler's gonna be taken down. Prowler goes out, scouts Crystal.
Mark
in his
Crystal!
position. They know he's behind the wall.
Shot
Still does well
big
to find that
Crystal.
kill before getting taken down by Art.
Double, double.
Kelly is lurking just outside of door. Ends up falling though. That does leave Poppy now in a 1v2. Given what we know about this guy, he's absolutely capable of it. Spike, however, still dropped, has to retap. Sets up the smoke. Inside the pile of this, a 2v1 facing towards Tree, and he gets it damn close, but it will be May to go ahead and close out the pistol win.
Yeah, I think what I'm really liking early
मेरी
here
बात
from
सुनो.
DFM on this defender side is they're playing for trades. They're playing to set up, you know, an early
ए,
trap
सुने
there
दिया कि नहीं?
is going to get GN a kill, but after that, it's just a lot of good working off of each other to make sure that they're getting those kills. You know, one goes down, another one is there to step right in. And that's encouraging. The teamwork for DFM. When they're locked into that mode, they can beat anybody on the planet. Saw it in the offseason, saw it in
मैं क्या करूँ
kickoff.
यार?
This team definitely can be scary. And they're going to go with an all Bulldog loadout. Every single player on DFM going for the rifle.
Not wanting to give him any kind of opportunity here.
Or
Thought
farming,
maybe
or
we would see an
farming.
early save here from Art, not buy down. Go for that Odin nice and early, but well, Jinbung able just get a couple stray shots there. Sense of timing. As Utah similarly tagged up, Crystal dead. And the odds of GE putting a dent in this DFM lineup at the moment looking pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
रुक जाओ.
Very challenging to break through these defenses. Good
रुको
read
मेरी
here
जान.
early from DFM. Good
भाई
crossfires.
पॉजिटिविटी चाहिए.
Some really good util from Akame to make sure that some of those players trying to get through. A bit of a stun there, but GN right there. Oh, 3 kills for GN. Woo, that was snappy.
They're versus classics, but yeah, that was still very swift. Nice little pivots there from GN.
Eco fragger, baby.
Very,
अब
very
है
clean
असली
round.
gun
Flawless
round.
for the side of DFM as they start off Lotus 2-0.
Yeah, and again,
Ready
I
up?
like that DFM is really playing for each other. God, that's good. And this is kind of what you're going to need for DFM if they're going to start making deeper runs, if they're going to start making playoffs, if they're going to, who knows, maybe make an international event. You're going to need GN to step up. He's this guy that you bring in.
Bhai, positive रहो यार, chat मुझे क्या गाली दे रहे हो? Positive
A little
रहो.
bit here and there, but May really vouching for him onto this DFM team. Had some rough matches for sure during kickoff, but we know that his mechanical skill in theory should be there.
DFM का सारा
see him
utils
kind of
खत्म.
integrated with this
कुछ
roster
बचा
a
ही
little
नहीं है
bit more,
DFM के
but
पास.
with that Viper there for the side of DFM, I like this change up
में
for
पता नहीं
GN.
क्या
It
करेंगे वो
gives
लोग.
him a little bit more comfort, a little bit more room to work the map, kind of set himself up individually in both his team. He can really cut off a lot of the map, keep GE guessing. Drone does get the spot there on a Jinboo.
Jinboo a little bit too early with that
Surprise
jiggle
हुआ
peek.
था क्या?
As well, Crystal, I was going to say, door gets opened up. He's got line of sight. With that outlaw in hand, able to find one mate. Just peel off a kill, but falls down quite low.
अबे drone अपना उससे नहीं होता clone से wall trigger.
Spike going to be planted. Jinboo looking to try to scale off this, but he's already noted previously in. Okay. Distract on the door. The swing out from mate, able to find one Jinboo at the same time. Finding Poppy before getting taken out by Kelly S. Seeing Patrick Hu now versus 2.
Nice.
And Art will be the first to fall. Mate, which is
अरे उसको kills देना. इतना time बाद आया ना वो खेलने को. हाँ? एक kill मारने आया क्या? उसको देना kills. थोड़ा अंदर से वो आएगा motivation.
And May there with a quick wrap back towards attacker spawn to find that flank angle and gets a kill with 10 HP. It's a really nice pickup there for him. Good early play through that door, kind of expecting the trap, have that outlaw ready to go. Shut the players down. Nice off angle for Patrick Hu.
इतना गन गिर गया तू जाके उठा ले.
That big kill, the IGL trying to hype up the
जीत
squad.
गए W चाहिए बस.
GE back involved. Getting close to some ultimates though. Kelly
चार
has only
बंदे.
a couple
भाई वो
away.
लोग का plan वही है.
One away
Series
for Patrick Hu as well. So
Simple
should be able
बात
to
है.
potentially grab an orb, get that Yoru ult, which is so
ना?
annoying to deal with.
Series
As a
tag वाला
defender,
plan.
especially on Lotus. There's just so many places that you can creep into.
Oh, and GN, they just fall right into his open arms. Hell yes. A bit too late on the swing to be able to really find that punish and save his comrades' lives. They end up getting taken down, bait out. Without able to find the thorns, find the wall. The pop, but what is going to be the pivot call?
We've seen some really impressive spray transfers already from GN. He has been really on point today. And again, big part of DFM's new roster is getting him fired up, getting him online.
कौन है भाई? बस main player down हो
Find one cage out. Jinboo just going to disrespect that. It's going to be the spike drop now here towards back
ये भी main में आता है क्या?
Finds the follow-up. Yuratan not able to try to keep them in the round.
Crystal by easily मार
All on Crystal. Looking for the first, finds it. The headshot connecting there. The spray a bit frantic. But eludes damage. 1v2. Still though, the salvo's oraled away. The high-low setup! And the lineup for him! What a Red Bull clutch as Crystal gets the 3K and ties up 2-2 DFM. Oh, they're going to be kicking themselves after that.
No doubt about it. That's, I mean, phenomenal work here by Crystal. Really like to see this. GN again.
भाई ये होती है भाई height advantage. पहले से उसको
This
दिक्कत
round
है
looks like
दोनों
it's done and
players.
dusted. Jinboo holding the back of the site really nicely. Finds an awkward
ऐसा करके
timing.
उसने
where
देखा
GE
ऐसा
isn't
समझ
able
रहे हो?
to
दोनों अब dunk खेलेंगे हाँ ये
kinda
देखो
come at
देखो
him at the same
देखो
time.
हाँ जेबाद
That's huge. That's a bit of a positional mistake in my opinion on DFM though. If you're gonna run that high low, there's those boxes in the back corner you can set up on.
There's a small bit of movement there. I believe it was Art kind of inching to the side. They end up getting a little bit more clustered together. As look, they're just trying to take their weapons away, flood out in towards rubble, but Global quickly pivoting back. Orb going to be snatched up here by May. One away from having that showstopper online.
But with those ults available for the side of
Camp
GE,
तोड़ने की कोशिश तो
you
थी.
almost
Awareness तो
have
है
to play
पे.
retake as DFM off the rip unless you can just bottleneck
Alt
in
West
front of
trap
like
लेता
me or
अगर
something like that,
fight
which is why
ले
you're
पाए
seeing
तो ले
DFM
पाए.
along with
नहीं
the
ले
weaker
पाए तो और
weaponry,
मिल गया. अगर
weaponry,
रेज अब एक किल मारेगा तो
about trying to
पलटा
do something
जाएगा.
like that, but right now they don't have much information on the map. They're making a hard read that maybe it's A that GE's heading to. They haven't had much contact anywhere else on the map, but Art's about to get a rude awakening. Oh, just a pop of the wall. Okay.
Top of the wall. Paranoia is still held there by Art.
Who's next?
Waiting this out as pass going to go on. Patrick Hu.
Not ready yet.
Chasing forward, scouting things out. Pings it. Fault line goes through. Just managed to slink away, but the side is opened up. GE now in control. 5 members strong. versus the eco
ये
attempts
किन लोग
here
का
from
मैप है?
DFM.
हमारा मैप है baby.
Oh, for DFMs, you'd love to try to get one of, if not both of the ults that are left in play for GE. The Armageddon and the Rolling Thunder out of their hands if possible. See if they can make a go of it.
And Art's just in such a poor spot. Does go ahead TP across to the opposite side, but
3, 2,
Poppy
1.
watching
Poppy,
long sight lines here.
Oh, mar, mar, mar,
They're
mar.
going to be committed. Global Esports just wanting to ensure that
Mar,
they can gain
mar,
the lead right
mar.
here, right now. Not going to be a flawless here as May able to find two. Some decent damage dealt, but Crystal with a final shot from the Outlaw will be able to go ahead and clean things up. So an ult committed, but Global Esports now in the lead 3-2.
Yeah, good patience shown by GE.
Making
sure to pop that wall, keeping DFM guessing where they were going to be on the map. Some attempts at hard reads there by DFM on the eco. Not able to quite find the mark, but you got the Rolling Thunder out. You used the Yoru ult as well for GE, so all things considered, not the end
Indian
of the world.
एक भी नहीं है इस बार एक है ना
Rounds
बहुत पार्टी कर
together,
रहा है
Crystal's double kill clutch. Looking to maybe be a difference maker here. As you do have the neural theft as well for Udotan, of course Poppy with his ult, but Showstopper available for May, and he's just down, he's out.
Oh, wait, what a shot there.
Hey,
Patrick
can you
just
show that replay in
swinging
slow
forward. May
motion?
clearly not ready for that. Ends up getting taken down. So Showstopper not going to be a part of the equation.
Seeing some good change of pace from GE to start this. Kind of showing some different looks at Rubble.
Huh? Bye.
This time around, they're going to take a bit of a pause, kind of
Bye,
regroup,
वो
rethink,
चाहिए
try
वो,
to see if
slow
they can
motion
convince
चाहिए.
DFM there's somewhere else on the map, but drone's going to go out.
3-2.
Prowler from
बाद
Akame
में
as
4-2,
well.
5-2, 6-2.
DFM
6-2 का prediction है
double
मेरा.
up the works. What a shot.
I mean, Jinbook's just out in the open, though. Sure, he's able to find one, but he cannot try to make, trade this back and get into any real advantageous position. Now the neural theft going to be committed.
चलो चलो चलो.
Revealing all is
अरे
just looking for
जा रहा है.
little timing there on the corner. Kame here at backside, able to find one. The Haunt about to go through, knows that they're scaling forward rapidly, trying to get in on top of him. They know that he's stuck into the corner. The classic drawn out. We'll be able to find that kill. Gen now, though, arriving, both players so very low. 37 health between the two of them. The face out. And
भाई
Gen
1
knocked
2
down
3
to
मिस
10
हो गया था.
HP. It was looking like a very solid 1v2 position. Now
बाप
becomes not
रे,
unwinnable.
almost वो एक को मार के
Can
निकल
really
गया था भाई.
isolate
1 2 3
and
थोड़ा सा
conquer here.
casual था वो.
Swing all the way into the back of the B site. Plant comes through.
लो है दोनों अभी पोजीशन एडवांटेज देखो गिर जाएगा. लो है दोनों. इसका क्या है? 500 HP है क्या इसका?
Use that waterfall
लो है
position.
दोनों.
Probably to fault line off a tap of the spike, and then him and
लो ना
Udotan
दोनों तो
can
फिर.
swing together.
So he'll know exactly where he's coming from.
सोए ने इतना जल्दी वापस आ गए.
That
Hats
trip
off,
gets
love
cleared
you
out.
यार.
Hell yes, the fault line at the ready. Time starting to tick away here.
रूस
Jen
सिमर sorry मत
looking
करो
like
मैं
the
2
call's
घंटा
gonna
से
be
please.
that this is not going to be a
आज के
winnable
दिन
round
माफ
for the
करो.
team. Fault line does hit its mark, but he's just going to go ahead and drift away from the spike, which will erupt as Global Esports maintain the lead, stretching it by 2 rounds.
भाई इस बार लग रहा है टीम. हाँ?
This is starting to look a little rough for DFM. It seems like that
टीम
that
स्ट्रांग
one
लग रहा है.
round
अभी
kind of
टाइम आउट
changed
आएगा.
their
डर का
destiny.
माहौल.
It looked really clean early. Since then, they haven't really found those kind of timings, those moments where they're able to kind of play off of each other. Wow, that's a nasty shot from
मस्त
Patrick
मारा
Wu.
ना.
That's why you're bringing him in here.
अपने nasty
Be that
shot.
duelist, be that entry
अपने
fragger.
nasty shot.
Kick doors in for you. GN there, that last one, he had a chance if his crosshair was just a little bit lower, but he was expecting the
4
wide
साल
side.
के बाद खुशियां देख पा रहा हूँ
Or
मैं.
took a ton of damage. Not
Huh?
able to get any other
है
value out of that
है
round.
vibe check
Again,
done.
though,
Vibe check
big
done.
ults, judge for art. So
लड़ो
gotta be
A पे.
careful
लो
here as
20
GE.
बंदे blind.
I mean, flashed up kind of
हाँ
just
हाँ लो
closer
लो.
together
चल
over
लो.
towards baby
20
door here.
बंदे और.
Kame gets taken
don't
down.
pick.
TP forward up into the
TP
smoke.
सुना नहीं
Patrick
इसने.
Wu feeling past, able to find one. Art does finally strike. That judge being put into play, but he's not ready for Udotan. And May
भाई ये
crosshairs off center.
ये बंदा एक्चुअली बहुत बात बंदा है.
Now, just Jinbuk, 10 HP for
मानते
himself.
हो कि नहीं?
See if he can do any additional damage here in this round.
सबसे consistent
Seems relatively
और
unlikely as
बाप
Global
बंदा.
Esports
I feel it's
really run away with this
He's
opening
him.
half. 5-2 about to be the scoreline.
Yeah, for sure. This is a rough map. The one time we saw it for
Huh?
DFM, they squared up against Gen G. Not going to quite catch the timing there as Crystal. Jinboong going to keep sliding away, trying to save this gun as best as he
मस्त
can.
मारता ना
GE
बे.
knows it.
He is utterly surrounded though.
चैट ये जो 9000 लेके लोग देख के 2000 लाइक किया है, थोड़ा ऐसा करके देखो ना एक बार अंदर कुछ है क्या शर्म नाम का चीज देखो देखो, वरना मेरे अंदर आके देख लो और ले लो ना, थोड़ा लाइक कर दो, 1 सेकंड लगता है.
There's blood in the water. The Sharks getting ready to surround as Jinbung about to push out
Reina
over
remove,
towards
kapda
Mount
change
Poppy.
karne
The
gaya, aayega
noise
next
being
update.
heard, and he cannot find that opening shot. So Poppy cleans it up. 2 players lost on the side of GE, but plenty of cash behind. So really racking it up. And now it's a lead of 3 rounds, and it looks like DFM will be calling the first timeout of stage 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think this makes a lot of sense. To me, this feels like the protocols of DFM are starting to fall apart a little
Late
bit.
night stream
They're
and
getting
abhi
flashed
fir
up,
se
they're
Goshim,
getting
I love
stuffed
you.
by the baby door. And then when Art TP's forward, there's nobody there to cover those angles to kind of watch the extra space that he's giving up by hiding inside of his own smoke. So there seems to be some problems. Some disorganization from DFM. Going to need to try to work that out. On the other side of things, GE looks really clean. They're starting to kind of shake off some of that rust we saw in the few opening rounds. Since then. They've looked really nice. They're crisp. Their shots are hitting.
Already subscribed.
They're playing together as a team very nicely. They're kind of keeping DFM guessing, other than maybe that last round where there was just a fight over rubber control. But
#DFM fighting.
I'm pretty impressed so far, especially Patrick Hu. He's hit some really good openers. Now it's been some good setups from the breach, but still, gotta like what you're seeing.
Yeah, and I think that was the big curiosity for a lot of people, was how
नाम
quickly
लेने बात
integrated
कर, मैंने
Patrick
like
Hu
किया,
get.
sorry,
Obviously
sorry.
was the
Love
original
you.
5 man, the 5th man, the one that they
पंगा time
wanted
8
to have
बजे.
in that duelist position from the very outset.
अभी
Did
4
get
बजे
bogged
एक
up,
और stream है जो
but
8
was
बजे
able to
तक
have
चलेगा.
pieces stuff sorted out coming into the stage.
7:38
But wasn't
तक.
going to be enough time.
फिर
Would
बाद में
they
8
get
बजे
enough
पंगा.
practice? Would things click immediately for the team? So far here on the attack, it's looking pretty
फिर
good.
से like करो
Yeah,
नहीं
absolutely.
एक बार
I'm really impressed. And it's going to be sheriffs for the side of DFM.
Art. I mean, this should
is
just
mad.
read like
This
a book
is
now.
madness.
They know exactly where he's at.
W.
It's a solid idea. The problem was they saw you the whole time.
Yeah. It's like one of those plays where if they don't go that way, you're going to get that extra step ahead of them maybe to try to get a quick flank. But
that would have been great if all of Global Esports were blind.
Yes. Turns out pretty hard to play Valorant.
Yeah.
If you're blind.
Should have just, you need to have the assistant coach run over and unplug the monitors for a
कुछ भी
moment.
करते ना.
May though. Fantastic headshot.
बाप रे. भाई ये तो suddenly winnable सा हो गया बे.
One of the best. I think there was that stat that if
Result
he
ये
gets
सब है लेकिन नहीं. तेरा भाई का prediction
over
था
a certain
6-2.
amount of kills, like DFM just wins.
It's 17.
Is it 17? Is that what it was?
Believe so.
दरवाजा तोड़ के भी जाएंगे. So
I mean, makes sense. But a change up here in the vice wall could catch GE
Yeah.
a bit off guard. Yudotan did get a spot on it.
W
pops it.
round यार.
They're just going to pivot in towards B. The pit was used by GN over at C. So he's going to be able to kind of lurk his way out of there. But
क्या ये लोग fade और raise
easy to
दोनों
read for
invest
GE, you would
करेंगे?
think.
Is the question.
See what they
Don't
want to
push
do.
up through upper though.
Yeah.
Jinbung still checking down towards stairs now. Sights being turned back over into this direction. Yotan fading away, spots out that shoulder. Jinbung locked in position here for the moment. Second shot from Crystal will connect. Jin going to be taken down.
नहीं कर रहा है.
It's Jinbung. Oh my God! Desperately needed the breakthrough there.
बाप रे.
That shot was
Yotan
instantaneous,
भाई.
however, and May getting timing a bit. Kellyas from behind will be able to find
Please
that
me,
kill. So
baby.
tempted a thrifty, some nice shots in the mix, but
पंकज तू
timeout
4 घंटा
call
सोया सिर्फ 2 घंटा सोया
for the
किधर
setup
4
here on
घंटा
this
सोया.
round.
ऐसा हल्का ध्यान रख
Really
गोडेस.
enjoying
Love you
the
Roy
way
bye.
that
Thank you for
GE
the
is also integrating
200.
the Outlaw into some of these rounds. Like we've been seeing them pick it up against the Ecos to really not give DFM many options, many chances. If you're just holding those angles, watching it, it's going to be real tough to
अब
get that
ये
sheriff
round
shot to go.
हार सकते
May
हैं.
is going to grab an operator though. Still
Heavy
sitting on a
ult की वजह से.
showstopper for, what is that, 3-4
But अगर
rounds
early
now?
fight
It's
अपने
been
इसमें
quite some
अच्छा
time.
गया
I
तो
thought it was
फिर
going to be something we
winnable
saw
है.
invested in the previous round, given that they also went for the pit. But not to be seen. Spot out there on the Jinbung Poppy, going to be being all the way here, well into the back, and Patrick Hu as well, just jumping out. Finds May with a shorty in hand. Crystal sends out the Armageddon. Jinbung absolutely obliterated. Jin just held in a position to flash
Bye.
across. Patrick Hu on the swing.
भाई
With the kill.
हाँ
Yeah, DFM
भाई.
immediately have to save. The execution
हाँ.
here from Global just far too clean.
एक
Everyone from
जगह पे
DFM on the
ब्रिज
C
टन
side.
आया यहाँ पे ओमेन अल्ट
Getting caught
करके
off guard.
ब्लाइंड मारा. यूरो के
Seems
लिए
like the timeout
भाई
in the end
दो
not
बड़ा
going
बड़ा
to lead
चीज
to a round
यूज
win.
हुआ है यूरो के लिए
And you can see
और
GE
उसने
here
मारा भी रेस को जिसके
adapting
पास अल्ट था
to
और ऑफ
a
था
lot of the meta
है
that we saw in Masters and in
है
and some
बे
of the later
है
stages of
प्लान
kickoff
है
with
प्लान
the
है
breach Tejo, but also the
हाँ,
Yoru. The Yoru
किया
is a huge
मेहनत
part of
मेहनत
this. You can
किया
get that
मेहनत
all. You can
किया
identify where Mei is. You can then call in Crystal's Armageddon right on top of the majority of DFM. Akame and Art, okay.
आराम
Gonna get
से
a couple. Not gonna
आराम
drop the
से
guns
अब
just
भी
yet.
तारीफ किया है
I mean, but in the end,
हाँ
you just need to hold on
आराम
to these.
से
Nothing else to play for other than their lives. Ults are online. Global obviously have a hell of a bank. As Akame looks to try to hold the door, Art will be able to find that second kill. Poppy on the chase. TP across, back into the A lobby. In the end, Art will be the lone survivor, but Global Esports now up 7-2.
Yeah, and Global Esports is doing a lot of things really well, and DFM is not. In terms of,
Indian
frankly,
नहीं है,
the
Indian
way that
पैसा
they're
दे रहा है
cycling their
उनको
ults,
खेलने
the
के
way
लिए
that they're combining some of their util
On
and things like
top,
that,
baby.
whereas it doesn't feel like DFM has like any kind of comfort with when they want to use the pit or the showstopper or some of their alts to kind of try to turn around, try to get something going. Instead, they're the ones playing on the back foot. GE, of course, it's the attacker side on Lotus. I get it. It is generally the stronger side of the map, but I'm not seeing some of the ideas and adaptations from DFM that you would like to see.
Valorant.
And it's like they're trying to hide the showstopper for like a big moment instead of just maybe using it to take rubble control, change the map a little bit.
Now you've got a second breach ult built up here from Kalias. It's everyone stood up around this A site. Could be a pivot in towards B where it's just Akame for the
भाई
moment.
उनको लग रहा है कि शायद ए फेस हो सकता है क्योंकि ट्रिप डाला है उसने फॉरवर्ड
Going to look to try to explore this space here, make sure that it's going to be cleared out.
नहीं बे जरा भी नहीं हिल रहे बे
Cause distraction for the rest of the team as they get ready to attack.
I mean, Akame is in a difficult position potentially. A pinch being set up here by GE towards B.
Faces on for the first. He's able to find Crystal. Thinks about the Prowler. And maybe a potential timing here. Poppy is able to find one.
Almost.
On the reswing, able to go ahead. Picks him off. Checks for a little bit more. Haunt now.
यार
Destroy.
reality भारी पड़ेगा
Showstopper into the corner. Gets the spot out. Yutan going to be blown to
बोला ना
smithereens.
भारी पड़ेगा
Get shelled down onto the site. Coming with a
ठीक है,
repeat
ठीक है,
back
ठीक है।
in from main. Will be able to
दो
clean it
हेवी
up.
वाला
DFM.
लगा
At long last,
अभी
break
एक
the
राउंड
win
के बाद
streak
याद
to give
आएगा
themselves a
कभी
third
पैसा
round
नहीं रहेगा ना
victory.
गन्स का वो वाला राउंड याद
This time
रहेगा
around, the timing there,
क्या
I
पैसा
thought
बाग बाग की
Akame
गन
might
दिए
be
तो
just
सबको
screwed. But instead, him and Art are able to find that timing to get ahead of the crunch attempt by GE. Find a couple big kills. Got the Nightfall online, threw it out there.
एफर है क्या एक
Art
सेकंड
doesn't
रिफ्रेश
get
कर रहा
the,
हूँ एक सेकंड
the
रिफ्रेश कर रहा हूँ
immediate. Akabe is good for it. Now you can finally use that showstopper, clear the corner, pinch out
रिफ्रेश
to clear the site.
बेबी रिफ्रेश
And then that is going to be a much needed round win. If you
No,
can make
eh?
this
क्यों रिफ्रेश किया
7-5,
मैंने
that's okay for DFM, honestly. If they can win these next couple, okay, you
क्यों
drop
रिफ्रेश
7 in a
किया
row,
मैंने
big deal. It was defender side of Lotus. Definitely recoverable. A lot of attention now.
No, take
Using
it,
the
take it.
drone, clear B, TP in as well.
Double TP forward once again this time. Gian not in a position to go for the transfer shots. Art, however, just trying to scale up through the wall. Pushes forward. I mean, it's just a shooting gallery, one by one. They just give line of sight over, and Global just hit every single target.
Spike planted.
I love Valorant बोल के कर गया
Trying to get ahead of the curve a little bit with
अभी नहीं
DFM.
अभी नहीं
Trying to catch him off guard with some of these timings, perhaps.
अभी कुछ
Either way,
नहीं
though,
है
the pinch is there. Yutan
ठंडा रखो
pushes
ठंडा
to the
रखो
door. Gives him the bad
Thank
news.
you
Akame
for
falls.
the 10 Australian
Global now
American dinars
Looking
मेरी
for a
जान के
9-3
टोटे
scoreline at the half.
Yeah, and some of these ideas that GE
Camera
are
देखो,
implementing
prank
are
हुआ है।
very reminiscent of some of the stuff we saw from DRX at Masters. Some of these double TPs, aggressive positioning towards sight. Kind of keeping
भाई
DFM
सिंपल
a
बात है
little
वो
bit
लोग को
off
ब्लाइंड कम
balance.
पड़ रहा है
Nice
Hats
paranoia
off to
there.
your
Make sure
commitment.
that
Love
no
you,
more further damage
Akshay.
can be done. But yeah, the tempo changes from GE, really nice. And again, you're going to have an operator and an outlaw. A lot of variation in what GE can bring to the table. A couple of the players do have full armor for the side of DFM. A
क्या
judge for
लगता है 93
GN
वाला फील आ
and
रहा
a
है
judge for Art.
And Yutan,
भाई ये
able to
बंदा
find the
है
shot.
ये बे
Art a bit too slow now. That narrow
बोले
depth
बस
once again
smoke भी
telling
नहीं
all.
अभी
Pivot
इधर
getting
भी
ready to
लड़ने
come
के लिए
through. Looks like DFM does have the right read. They're starting to go for the pivot back over to A, but then they rethink it.
Who's next?
Double peek back in from Waterfall slows up the reapproach here from Gian, who would love to be in position a bit faster, given that he just has a judge.
Oh!
Excuse me.
I don't know if like an elbow stuck through that smoke or something.
I know your name stands for guided missile, but guided bullets, that's just unfair. Nakame doing his damnedest. He's able to find a
अरे
second.
वो तो 10 टन के बाद आराम से
Gives them an
मारेगा
opportunity, but Crystal's still here. Both players pushing in from his angle.
भाई
Drone going to be sent out. Akame trying to keep them all held at bay. But there's the rolling thunder. Akame has fallen. Right now it just feels like Jin has no hope in hell.
अभी डाल दिया बे
Both players just stuck back in the tree. The
नजदीक
time
भी
is
नहीं है
ticking away. Just no real opportunity. Trying to make a go of this one. A triple face finds the first and will end up falling. 9-3.5. Global Esports.
सभी डाल दिया
Very
बे
much answering all the questions we had about the integration of the roster and how they would be looking. Things look pretty damn clean.
Yeah.
Really, it's great coordination. It's good ideas. You know, some good sniping, knowing when to implement the outlaw. A lot of just kind of ahead of the curve of DFM. The comp as well. Really impressive. It just seemed like DFM was getting caught out by utility or getting out-thought in the idea department. Kind of alt-scaled, alt-rotated. You know what I mean? Like, it's just everything was just going GE's way, and they were finding a lot more impact in just about every aspect.
So I was just caught off guard.
Alt-cycle, that's the word I wanted.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mithul अरे
Caught off guard by the
Madam.
music here for a bit. Sounds like we're in
मत करो
a
ना
early 2000s like knockoff Matrix style film.
M लिखा था देखा
Shots of the action hero walking down a sidewalk or something like that after he just killed a bad
I
guy.
kind of does, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Missing
I
3
could-
sentinel
if they would throw this in the Matrix soundtrack, I wouldn't be shocked, yeah. Or like, what was that Christian Bale movie?
Oh no.
Do you remember it?
Is it called like Ballistic or something like that?
No.
Which Christian Bale movie?
The one where he's like got like the guns and he's like doing all
देखते
this like martial art gun stuff. Do you remember that?
I know
one?
exactly what.
They like had like the white like trench coat or whatever.
आज वो नहीं है क्या
What
enemy
was
है
it
क्या
called?
ये क्या है
It's kind of a weird-
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. There it is. It's kind of a weird movie. But
I thought it, but
अरे
I'll admit I did look it up. Just
सर जी एक टीम हार रहा है 3-9 से ये पार्टी म्यूजिक
I'm concerned. Like the first couple of rounds, I'm like, man, DFM, they look well drilled. They're
DFM
playing
will
off
be
of
like,
each other
"Yay,
nicely. There's
yay!"
good util, and then it all just went out the window.
all right. Well, pistol round.
पत्रे को
At the
बोलते
opener
हैं
went the way of DFM, but Art just as we jump into the action, dead immediately. We'll be calling here from beyond the grave.
Panko, try that
They're
one.
still
like
trying to
pistol, very-
keep that space. Jinbung trying to create some attention towards the other side of the map, but to me, DFM is looking like they're not exactly sure where to go. Ooh, Udotan had a chance.
करता ही नहीं है बे
Went for that moment after
बिना
getting
3
the tag with
सेकंड
his
के
util.
विन भी
Thought,
कोई विन है
see if I can catch him a little bit off guard, but Jinbung there, lucky to get
करो।
away with his life, in my opinion.
एने है बंग्स भाई तो
Try to go
आज
this
नहीं हो
way. I
पाएगा
don't think
They have no information about
कल
Poppy.
कर सकता हूँ कल शाम के टाइम पे
They
वैलो
pinged the
मेंबर्स में भी
spot.
कर सकता हूँ
But do they think that's where Udotan went?
For now, Gibson from the third attempt will be able to
Bye.
find it. Jinbung going to be taken down. 2 players lost.
ये
Some
बंदा
decent
ज़्यादा है
damage onto the lineup here of Global, but elimination still not quite yet in their hands until May manages to
अभी
find
भी आया
Patrick
था हाँ इतना बड़ा हो गया मैं तू
He's
इतना
like
बड़ा हो
opened
गया
up a
अभी
bit.
भी आया था
It's
पत्रिक भाई
tripwire. Time, starting
आज ग्रुप गेम
to
से
dwindle.
you there I'm not
Strip is
there
going to be
buddy
cleared. May pushing his way through, but Crystal on that peak, finding one. Jin going to be taken down. Akame does get into a position to go for the plant. May is instantaneous with that headshot. Poppy, however, arriving,
2v1.
interrupts the spike plant. It's now just stranded here on the floor. 12 seconds remaining. It's May, sends out the paint shield, trying to buy himself some space. Gets drawn off of the plant. Challenges in for a fight,
Time
but he's
नहीं
just
है।
out of time.
W टाइम
He'll
नहीं है
find the
बड़े
But surely, yep, it is just too late. Off by a hair. Global Esports
जब
steal away the
क्यूटीज
pistol
में
round.
कैमरा हो तब कैम ऑफ एक्सक्यूज बे
But again, it just feels like DFM
अच्छा वो लोग के लिए हाँ कर दे
is a bit lost. The coordination, I mean, the call is to spread the map.
मेरे को
But
तो
really,
भाई
they're lost
पता
on the
भी नहीं है
positioning of where
क्यूटी
GE
कोई
might
था वहाँ
be,
पे मैंने एक को नहीं देखा
you know, almost getting caught out, trying to go for an orb. And then when you push into the site, you're not expecting 2 to be there. You kind of just read that it'd be a solo hold
I
from
think they
Udotan.
have
You're only showing
this-
the vice yourself, so you're just kind of like, okay, it's lurk player versus lurk player. You know, let's see what we can get done. Let's see if we can catch him off guard. But GE not fooled in the slightest.
You can see the buy down.
Yeah.
Still not even
No, I told you.
overly strong. May able to get
You-
himself
you
a
can
guardian,
try
the full
that
armor
chutney
there.
move.
Otherwise, two
हाँ,
stingers, two
लेकिन वो
sheriffs.
लेके हुआ एक्चुअल में वो बाप है वो
And Art's going to be glass
मस्त
cannon.
दिखा पक्को
मैंने
Not
बहुत
much of a
use
cannon, I
किया, वो
suppose. It's a
टूटेगा
stinger.
चलेगा
It's a mini cannon. I mean, in the hands of, G2, kind of a cannon.
Oh, sure. They play a very different game.
Yeah, their stingers hit different for sure. But just a walkabout behind
दिक्कत नहीं है ये बात
the toxic screen.
वो वाला
That classic one you'll see that cuts up towards a site. But all of the Cypher
क्या कर
utils
रहे हो?
here kind of slow
Endura.
things up. And you just got a huge
Endura.
stealth
Endura.
over at C
Endura.
past mound, almost into spawn for GE. They know full well that this is a.
मेंबर्स
Hell
होंगे
yes,
लोग
already
थोड़ा
here.
सोने भी दो इसको भाई लोग नहीं chill है
Gonna guide them to an 11th
जब भी
round
free
win.
roam का कर
Hawk
दूंगा
is going
यार
to reveal Patrick Koo. Noted
Chill
by
it,
that
chill
is Art pushing forward, goes for it. Swinging on the corner though, but it's just far too slow. And Patrick
कोई
Koo
तो ट्रिप
drags
तोड़ता
across,
उसके
finding
लिए
him now, spraying wildly into the smoke, and one by one they shall fall. Yudotan is coming away with these eliminations. Two remaining players absolutely tagged up. Akame has been doing well to find some frags, but it's just not going to be enough.
11-3
GE now up
baby
to 11. DFM once again broke.
Yeah, and it's just, again, GE winning in so many different ways in this modern composition. They're playing it extremely well. Disrespecting the util a little bit there, getting the info. That's a huge advantage in these compositions as well that GE is really abusing. For DFM, it's a lot of trying to obscure where you're going. You're trying to use this double controller comp to keep GE guessing, whereas GE has a lot of tools to deal with that. They've got the drone, they've got the Cypher util, so they can get ahead of the curve. And DFM has not found great answers. The Teho utility is so oppressive to control space as well. Not just with the stealth drone, but obviously with the salvos. Then you see it where DFM's stuck in these bad spots. They can use salvos to flush them out, get the kills. Really well thought out, really well prepared are GE for this map.
Bit of a util exchange outside of C, but everyone unscathed here for the moment. Once again, trying to scale forward over towards this A site a bit is DFM. Camera just behind the box, Poppy out wide, ensuring that there's no one working their way over towards this C site.
I'm not sure how much that camera can see.
Salvo's now back online. The drone to lead. Crystal getting a spot there. Jinbung just going to be bouncing away. Comment looking like he may be sticking around for a little bit longer, but eventually the call will be to pivot everyone. The full forces of DFM getting gathered up here, ready to attack. Onto the A site.
मिर्ची वाला
नहीं साजा वाला
Might be a pivot towards B if they can break through, but isn't that aftershock to slow them down?
At least want to try to fake the pivot here. Patrick Koo now for the moment alone on the site, now dead. Swing out Yudotan looking for a little bit more. And
भाई
nearly
उड़ोतान
find
भाई
himself a
गलत
second
बन गया
elimination
है
there. Well, shot through looking for Jinbung, trying to fish him out through that wall, but can't quite find it. Spike is planted. Salvo's too late to get the interrupt, and Art now a deep flank around the back. Just that sheriff in hand, though. See if this plan comes to fruition. We'll be going down through the stairs. Should be able to catch the timing here. On to Kelly S. The shots are noted. Now he strikes. Bulldog picked up, but it looks like DFM a little bit more fight left in them. As the time is just not going to be on Global's side. Tap of the spike defuse, just trying to see what they can bait out. Any peeks here. But in the end, DFM just not really giving them anything to work with. So GE, two players will save. DFM will hang around here on Lotus for a little bit longer at least.
Yeah, this round, some good calling from Art and DFM. Able to kind of push forward, kind of take their time. Keep GE guessing a little bit, show some thought about setting up that B crunch, but it was actually all just trying to open up a little bit of extra space towards A. DFM's able to capitalize on it pretty quick there. May on point with the Guardian. DFM fans over in Japan cheering them on, hoping that they can string some rounds together, maybe get a little bit of confidence at the very least. GE, though, able to mostly buy up here. Still Guardian held over.
I think there's some hope.
Absolutely.
Bring a couple of rounds together, extend this map a little bit longer. The analysts just walk back in and
blind
sit
lineup
down, so that means that now they will have
है
to, wait for 20 plus minutes for their segment to start up.
Overtime, please.
Would be a hell of a turnaround here.
ठीक है ये भी shift work करता है
Maze one away from a showstopper.
जमाना
Could
हो गया
funnel this
मैडम
orb to him. Again, it's more about confidence at this point for DFM. Sure, of course, if you were able to run it back and get a win, that'd be great, but that's very, very difficult no matter who you are. And just getting those rounds, you know, we saw it with T1 where you get blown out of the first map. Sometimes just those few extra rounds at the end will kind of carry over into the next map. They're not, they did get the orb. Okay, they do have the showstopper for May. So can at least clear space that way. You can see B site left completely open, trying to set up a bit of a fake towards C. A lot of util sent that way. GE's already there, so.
Thorn's Throne destroyed. Thorn's Throne destroyed. May slowed up here.
Got it, attack, got it.
Global going to be nearby, immediately evacuating as soon as they hear the showstopper draw. Checks the close corner. Crystal at the same time, able to find one as Kame going to be taken down.
Crystal ने कैसे मारा? Spam मारा क्या?
Default plant coming through DFM. Spike in play. Kelly S lurking around the back. Art once again trying to go for this lurk timing here. Flash not going to connect. They look to double face. Now he knows that he's in a bit of a bad situation, but cannot run away. Faces back in. Ends up along the wayside. A little bit of damage there onto the enemy breach, but kill cannot be found. GN flashed up, tucks back. The salvos flying towards him. Looks for a little bit more. May with covering fire. Help to try to keep him alive. Fault line going to be flying out. And they're all lined up. It's Kelly S.
W baby.
Pick up a 3K and get Global up to map point.
Yeah, and this is really good stuff from Kelly S and GE. Quickly
Crystal
identifying that Art was going to be lurking somewhere,
दिखाओ.
and they're really diligent about making sure that he's dealt with, because he was hiding over towards C lobby, and they were already kind of thinking about pushing in towards pillars. Yeah,
मैं वही सोचा कि वो मतलब उधर था मारा कैसे? बाहर निकल के मारा है क्या से?
but
मारा
I really want to give a lot of credit to
भाई वो क्या
the
था भाई?
immediate adjustment here, and that shows a lot of great preparation.
वो
Great
क्या था?
understanding, on the fly thinking, and it's going to be another final timeout, I'm assuming from DFM,
All the best, guys. All the best.
to try to see if they can get some more rounds, get something going here on Lotus, but it's tough.
Wooden Aries chalega.
क्या था
Very
भाई
much
वो?
so. A few round wins that we've had from DFM, very much separated. Nothing really consecutive aside from the start of the series, that pistol into the anti-eco. Should be a very calm, cool, and collected little chat here from the side of Global Esports. Miley just telling them, keep up
क्या
the
बात
good
कर
work.
रहे रहेंगे? कुछ jokes चल रहा है.
Patrick, who's having fun? First time on the stage, and they're having a roaring start. Gotta like what you're seeing. A lot of laughs. Obviously, joining a couple other Filipino players on the squad, and they are immediately clicking here against one of the hopefuls of Japan. Trying to find a way, like you saw in the intro video before the game started today, that you know, DFM knows, they're cognizant of the fact that a Japanese team hasn't made a Masters in a very long time.
Yeah.
They want to try to change that, but this is not the start they were looking for sure.
Certainly not. I mean, you already highlighted how important it is, given the group find themselves in.
टीम में कितने इंडियन हैं? 10,000.
Every team is able to find the victory
चलो
here
देख
in
रहे
this set.
Love you यार.
It'll be a very big boon for them moving forward.
अच्छे मेरे को जीप आया था.
Todd's fishing here for some wallbang shots. Jinbong, however, managing to get up on
Love
top of the
you.
box. Lude's taking damage and comes away with that elimination. So C-Site for now in control here for DFM. Tap the spike plant. We look for a little bit more. Nightfall's going to be sent out over towards Waterfall at the same time. Patrick Koo puts a mask on, goes sprinting forward, identifying two players over towards this water bend. Paranoia crashing across. Jen, however, to win out the fight. The flank is noted, but he still comes away with that kill. Patrick good for one, now at 4v2. Salvo sent to just buy a little bit more time, but with 45 seconds remaining on the clock, and GN still backstabbing. This round is not going to be going the way of Global Esports. It seems this time for DFM, barring a miracle from Poppy, something that he has delivered in the past. They should beat DFM clinging to life.
पापी भाई आप क्या मॉनिटर को पापी दे रहे हो?
At first, and he got in the transfer onto a comment. You start believing, but still some losses suffered. The money's not in a good spot for DFM, but they critically get the round win.
Yeah, they're able to win a huge opening duel there, not suffering any casualties. And GN, this is really important stuff that he's winning these flank battles. Kind of a little Munchkin-esque there from GN, playing the Viper on Lotus, holding that flank. Because if he gives over that kill to Kelly S gets the Rolling Thunder, and that could be a very different round very quickly. And you can see there that trying to
Please
use that
बताओ
your
हमारी
ult to
stream पे
set up
होगी हमारा
for that
POV देखने
retake.
मिलेगा.
If you could find that one kill, get another ult going, just end the map right then and there. But DFM's GN comes up big, keeping the B site lurk under control. This time around, he's going to be leading the charge
By
towards
heavy
A.
read by DFM का.
DFM.
They've seen enough. DFM's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're not going to contest the C side this time.
They've solved the riddle. Managed to drift over towards the correct side of the map, so no util, no nothing here for Global on this A site. There's going to be at least, by the looks of it, a four-man push through that A lobby side.
Just a smoke and some salvos were enough for DFM to try something different.
The thing is, though,
रुक जा 1 2 3 4
Global
करके
Esports
सारे
taking any kind of
सारे
advantages.
ready है?
They'll be more than willing to
1
pull the trigger
2
on these
3
ultimates. There's not a full push across the wall.
उड़ोतान भाई आपने जो उड़ने का कोशिश किया वहाँ पे love you यार.
Players still going to be locked down here for the moment.
It's a good read for DFM. They're going to avoid a lot of that util.
Paranoia dodged out there by Jinbung, just able to drift away from it. Push getting ready to come through. Oh, right before the flash connects, Jan. Taking Patrick Hu's head clean off the re-swing out here, and that's just going to be them lining up. 3 kills here for the side of Jinbung. Kellyes all on his lonesome. Thinking back over here towards stairs. Eventually will fall. Flawless round for DFM. Much needed.
क्या मारा उसने
As it's
crispy?
6 to go, 6 tries for
पंगा हट
Global
गया, हट गया.
Esports to bring this map to a conclusion.
Yeah, and again, this is about confidence here for the side of DFM, and some good reads from Art in the last couple of rounds. This one, again, the only util that was used off the rip by GE was a smoke in the salvos, and that was enough to kind of let them feel a bit more confident. Obviously GN not receiving any contact, any resistance at all on the A side at Rubble. Also made it a little bit easier. Kind of lean towards that direction, going up against that eco. This time, though, the Rubble control will be contested.
Art is an absolute lunatic.
Yep.
TP's forward, he's here within the smoke. Kellyes just watching, waiting for the exit. It's like Art wanting to just try to wait for it to dissipate, but the timing, the bait on the Prowler is actually gorgeous. Very well set up. Kellyes on the floor once again. That Rolling Thunder not going to be utilized here in the round.
There's method to the madness for Art this time. Great combo again. Reminiscent of some of what we were seeing early on for DFM.
For the sake of
Bit of a spread now for GE, but they're really leaning towards
अगर
B.
अपन ने ये सोचता
They seem to feel pretty confident because Yudotan has been watching round and hasn't really seen
क्योंकि अगर
much.
टाइगर रहता तो टॉप फ्रैग
Can
करता.
lean in this direction. Poppy right around the corner gets identified.
Jump forward here, May.
I'd like to
Despite being
apologize.
caught up in the tripwire, still able to find a shot. Crystal finding it, the trade there, but Jinbung is catching Yudotan on a bit of a linger. Dead at the door
ये
switch.
अचानक से क्लोज क्यों जा रहा है?
Now the C site wide open. And for Patrick Hu and Crystal, there was no other recourse but to sit back and save.
Yep, 100%. Nothing else to do there. Yeah, a couple just
Chilling कर रहे भाई.
kind of
Chilling कर रहे.
wild plays from DFM. The early TP from Art.
13-8
जब
Getting
से उनके
Akabe to
टाइम
come
आउट
and
ने
help.
अपन
Getting
के
that kill.
कोच भाई ने कुछ
And
तो
then May
जोक्स
just
मारा ना.
Sending it in for the
तब से
cause
राउंड
there.
हारना
Gets
चालू
another
किया.
kill,
अभी
and that's
जोक
enough to
क्या
break
था? I'm
open
very curious. मेरे
enough
जैसा
space
कुछ
on
तो
the map
बैड
to get
जोक
the plants, and you win the fight towards C Mound. Good to go. So DFM starting to kind of work the map a little bit, starting to get some good reads on this GE defensive setup.
कोई प्लानिंग नहीं है.
Gotta wonder if sitting on 2 timeouts, you might as well pull the ripcord on one of them.
Yeah, about to go into, 2 rifles. We'll see
You
if
are
anybody
dead.
else
Are
really
strict
puts
ska,
any
strict ska.
impact behind their purchases, but there's 2 rifles carried over.
अब चालू हो जाएगा.
The rest going to be on a bit of an eco
Kaka
here.
mama
में तो
So they opt to go forward right here, right now, or if they maybe delay, wait for another full purchase. Either way,
20
I don't
gifted
think
if
that,
DFM
they'll
lost.
mind it too much.
It must याद
DFM
रखना.
now winning 3 in a row off the back of their own timeout, but it seems like the timer is going to continue
तू
to tick
देगा.
down.
कौन देगा?
मैं नहीं
Okay.
दे रहा.
Showing some trust. I mean, in general, I've been super impressed with Kellyes on this map. The way that
Oh,
he is
yeah.
calling for GE has been really, really good.
Oxyconn दे
He
रहा
has
है.
mostly been ahead of the curve. So
Also want the team to be able to make these pivots and, suss things out on their own.
that's
Bugs, I'm really sleepy. We
especially
sleep.
now that you've got a new player
आज मैं
coming
join
in.
कर
You
दूँ
want to
sleep
get
by.
them
Dance
comfortable
in
with each
Baba
other, being able to communicate in the heat of the moment. 100%, I like it. Oh boy,
Looking for a bit of a crunch play here. 3 players still on the approach from Mound. Getting some shots through the smoke to just try to fish for anything that he can get. Flash, however, does connect. Patrick Hu able to find one, doesn't find another. Puck with a headshot onto Art. Suddenly the round starts getting away from him. Rolling Thunder. Gonna be dodged out. The spike is absolutely stranded. So deep into the spawn. This is noted for DFM.
Bike मिल गया, guns मिल गया, सब मिल गया, लेकिन
Is this how it ends? Is this how this map comes to its conclusion?
इतना बड़ा अल्ट है, आधा मैप
Gotta
लेता
send
है.
Jinbung trying to create that flank
आज
angle
तक नहीं देखा.
so you can actually get to this spike. Poppy so aware of it, already holding, and there's still some time.
आज
GE
मैंने
doesn't need
देखा
to move a
stream कर
muscle.
रहे थे, अभी भी कर रहे
Need
थोड़ा
to hold
rest
their
ला,
angles.
chill है.
Instead, they're going to double up on this B push. Let's see if they can take Poppy out.
पता भी शायद 8:30 बजे या 9
Starting to
बजे.
make some noise here. Jinbung eating a bit of damage. Kelly has 5 HP, but on this deep line of sight angle, as the swing out is good, and just like that, Global Esports will show why they did not need the timeout. A crunch play that goes sideways
baby,
for
Jeep
DFM.
fighting, all
13 to 7 is the
positivity
closeout.
is all
Global
around.
Esports
Let's
win
go,
their map,
let's
pick a
go.
Lotus.
Yeah, a lot to love here from Global Esports. The composition with the agents looking really cool. They've got some great ideas with some of the combos with the ultimates and the utility and those kind of things. Some great play calling. Patrick Hu came out, had some really impactful first kills for them.
Blind by
That's
Patrick
exactly what you
Bai.
need out of your duelist. Comes in, doesn't look like it mattered too much that he wasn't there for kickoff.
Keep
Seems
fighting,
like
keep
they're
fighting,
integrating
keep
him very
fighting.
nicely. DFM, on the other hand, looked good at the very beginning. After that, it was very rough sledding the rest of the way through. Not many
Bye,
rounds where
G.
they're really able to get their feet underneath them, get a
Cap?
good read on what Global Esports is trying to do.
Bit of a rough center of the map here for the side of DFM. Started off so very well. I mean, Gian still leveled up performance. Kame, I think a decent shout out given how he was fragging the whole way through, even with the team's struggles. For DFM, we kind of stroked this one off. Second time they played Lotus this year. Second loss that they do suffer.
Gen Z's.
They have their
मैप
own
जितनी
map
बार
pick-up
टीम में
pro coming up. And the
कॉन्फिडेंस आ
last time
जाता
they
है,
played
बाय
it,
मेरी
13
बात
to 1.
सुनो, मेरी बात सुनो.
Yeah.
जो लोग सोए हुए नहीं हो ना, जाके सो जाओ आराम से. 2-0 होने वाला है. पहला मैप जीत चुके, कॉन्फिडेंस एकदम हाई चल रहा है, एम एकदम हाई चल रहा है, उड़ातान एकदम ओपी ओपी हो रहा है. पत्रिक भाई ले एंट्री पे दे एंट्री दे रहे. ठीक है, एकदम ही इजी मैच होने वाली है, एकदम इजी मैच. समझ में आ रहा है? हाँ, इजी बेबी. गलती से भी मैप 3 मत जाना, मेरे को 4 बजे वो है प्लीज. हाँ, वरना मैं फाफी को नहीं देखना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज आई हैव टू लुक एट फाफी फेट.
On Lotus, DFM tried their darndest to turn things around, but I have to say this is a really great start, really great showing for stage 1 by Global Esports.
Yeah, for sure. I think they came in with a good game plan. You think back to GE in kickoff, you know, they had to play with a stand-in. Things were very disjointed. They didn't even look like they knew how to play some of the maps in the pool. This one included with kind of a weird comp that they brought into kickoff. This time we see their team as they originally envisioned it. They all played well across the board. They had a good game plan. They had an execution-based comp that they used to force and oppress their will upon a DFM who looked completely unprepared for it.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised by DFM a little bit. I feel like GE were playing the breach Teo very much as you would expect. And I kind of felt like DFM were never able to counter it. It kind of looked like they'd never seen breach Teo before.
They didn't look like they knew
That's
what the comp did, really. Like, they were getting flashed through that A-wall, like the most default flashpoint that you've seen from Breach. And you have to say, like, this is not...
विशाल भाई, पहला हम लोग का जो 13-0 का जो स्कोर चल रहा है ना, उसके बारे में एनी कमेंट? मेंबरशिप भी खत्म हो गया. डांस करो हर बार डांस करो. नहीं, मतलब मैं नाचने बैठा हूँ इधर.
Really speaks to the current meta of the interaction of the Yoru with the popularity of Vice on this map, for example. But yeah, DFM, they just looked really, really flat. And compared, I guess I already compared GE with themselves in kickoff, but DFM, remember how free flow and well prepared, and they had good game plans and they were playing off each other so well in kickoff when things were going well. That was about as far away from that as possible. That was back to 1 or 2 players on DFM show some promise, but overall the macro macro is a bit confused and the players are not delivering well across the board.
Yeah, I mean, if you're DFM in that back room, you're just going, it was a warm-up map, guys. It was a warm-up map. We got there towards the end. We're fine. Let's look ahead to Pearl. That kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, they did look a little sleepy. I think, as you boys were saying, Pilsky, especially, it did not look like the kickoff DFM, this fiery DFM that looked really scary. And now, Morgan, take us through this.
Yeah, this is the Breach Tail stuff. It's very, very strong towards A. We saw it again and again. I felt like G at the start of the rounds, they're using that reusable util, the tail missiles, the breach stun. They're able to take that space with Yoru, with Omen, and they just kind of recycled this again and again and again across all areas of the map. They had lots of ideas. But this A fight, it just felt like they couldn't lose it. And you know, we spoke about this time and time again. This A fight is so important, and DFM had no answers in that area of the map.
Not even just like the Teo breach util. You've got individuals just running out and winning duels.
Patrick Hu just swinging.
Like, not even necessarily with a flashpoint. He's just swinging out and one-tapping someone, and it's like, as DFM, you got to be on top of that. Like, they're not doing anything outrageous. It's not like they've brought some crazy new meta strat or anything like that. It's either dry peaks or it's, as you mentioned, fault lines, flashpoints in combination with silos to push and pull you around. But that is the common meta at the moment. Like, Breach Teo might be one of the most common combos that you're going to play against. So the fact that you're just getting bullied by that is not acceptable at this level, I don't think.
Yeah, I will say, I do think it feels like a very nice fit for GE. I feel like they very much understood how to play that kind of style. I think it worked very well for them. They had a range of different ideas that was executed well, so I'd like to see them lean on that style a little bit more through their other maps, and hopefully Pearl.
I think as well, I'm more and more impressed by Kelly S. The more I see him play. It's not a play that I expected much from, but I remember the split map that you saw. I mean, he's the MVP here. His breach play was great. Like, he was directing the flow of traffic well with his util, setting up his other players for success. But he's also got some pretty good multi-fragging skills, and he's not afraid to get involved in the action. You know, he's not just that AFK breach who's licking a wall, holding his fault line up. He's actually getting involved and multi-fragging and having some impact. And I've seen a fair few GE games, not the initial games at the start of kickoff, where you had some individuals where I was like, oh my god, Udatan's unbelievable, Papi's clutching every round. But later on, especially in the tougher games in the game that they lost, I remember that split game that they lost against DFM. I think Kelly S is one of those players that I see him get involved in the mid-round, get active, and have some impact and multi-frag from the IGL position.
Binks का ब्लॉग तो स्ट्रीम पर वही ना पूरा दिन उसको बस मैं बोल रही हूँ अभी इधर ना एक सीसीटीवी लगा दे कैमरा की जरूरत नहीं है पूरा दिन लाइव है ना इधर मच्छर आया ये आया वो आया सब दिख जाएगा
they're just looking a lot better, a lot more complete. I think we saw glimpses of this, like you said, earlier on in kickoff. I don't know if it's simply the addition of their original roster being in its full force, or if it's something else that they've been working on in the outseason.
Would you say that might be a bit of a copy-paste approach from the GE coaching staff, perhaps, that they're just continuing to go over and over again, you know, not crazy original ideas, perhaps.
No, for real, I like that.
I mean, you don't need it. If it works, it works.
Have Bunks ever slept in sofa? Yeah,
this is great.
And
now going into Pearl as our second map.
उसको ऐसा है कि हमारे बेडरूम का जो पर्दा है ना इट्स नॉट डार्क इनफ सो सुबह को अगर वो सोएगा तो वो लाइट आता है तो वो सो नहीं पाता है और जो हॉल का मतलब लिविंग रूम का जो पर्दा है वो ग्रे है वो लाइट कैंसिल ज्यादा करता है उधर अंधेरा हो जाता है तो वो ज्यादा अच्छे से सोता है ऐसा उसका कहना है we have eye mask also but he doesn't want to use
at the same time I've never seen PaperX look so lifeless. And the game before that was the complete opposite from DFM.
Yeah,
like the consistency on this map is not really
there.
They went from playing that ISO Yoru comp that I did not think was good to actually going into what you see in the second comp. That was the more recent one with the Teo KO that looked really, really good against PRX. So we'll see what they prepared here on Pearl, but you know they've been a bit up and down, and you can see GE they've got a dub on
यार AC का remote किधर चला जाता है पता नहीं भाई.
Like when they managed to beat PaperX in that dominant fashion, they just won map 1 before that, right? They suddenly had all the cards, they were able to play with all the confidence, but now the shoe's on the other foot. They just kind of got slapped on map 1. So being able to bounce back is very important, but I wouldn't expect that kind of dominant scoreline. But again, they've picked this map for a reason. We have to believe believe that they have ideas. I'm curious to see if they're going to change that composition or not.
You're going to see GE shuffle something.
वो सिड़की बेटी
because
बड़ा
this is
time
kickoff
बाद
They've changed roles. They're probably going to change up the comps a little bit, as you already saw on
पिटाई
Lotus. So
vlog
you're not really sure what exactly
No,
you're going to
उसका
expect from them. At least
on
looking at the
streaming
officials, I'm
सब है,
sure that
off streaming
DFM
है.
is going to have some idea from what they've been playing in practice and all of that kind of stuff.
Nice
But
idea, Yubi,
I totally
yes.
agree. I think for DFM, that free flow game that you got from kickoff is not how they stepped
Binks
into
के
this
मच्छर का
game. They've
DP
looked
देखो.
very slow, very
ओए
sleepy
मच्छर
today,
लिख
and I
कुछ.
already said it earlier in the pre-show. This is the game that these two teams need to win against each other to make the rest of the game go well. If you just have a slow start to kickoff, and DFM is forced to try to make some upsets happen against some of the more difficult teams in the group, they might not be going to playoffs, guys. After a really nice performance,
Pivot,
against
pivot,
Six
pivot,
Nations,
G5
they
pivot.
might go
Block.
straight
नहीं
back
मैं
to
raft
where
कर
they
रही हूँ
were.
members
Yeah,
को.
fantastic point. This is a very
Pivot.
critical first match
Pivot.
of stage one for that exact reason.
Binks
This is
के
going to
मच्छर
carve the
का
rest of your
DP
pathway
पता है?
over
एक
the next
मच्छर और फिर
2
इतना
months.
बड़ा सा
And you
तेरा
guys
मुंह.
put them,
कल
you
रात को
put
वही था.
Global Esports DFM kind of close together, almost in the A-B range here. Does anything change here, or do you think DFM might be
ये
waking
क्या
up
बना है
and
square?
want to give them a second chance?
I mean, the series isn't over. We can't move them before the series is over. I
Right.
mean, my advice to DFM right now is wake up, guys. Come on, adapt. Stop playing the Valorant, guys.
They
Come on.
They already know. Like that's
Yeah,
exactly what
absolutely.
they're saying. Like we've all had games like where you like you're
Remember
in the
Chai
coach
or Pinky?
position and you're watching your team go through the motions. That is exactly what that was from DFM, and it's a really frustrating thing when it happens.
Pinky,
Yeah,
क्योंकि
they just,
Pinky
I
चाय
felt
बना.
like they weren't adapting at all in that first
W
map. Like,
answer.
GE used their ideas again and again and again. And
मालूम है.
DFM had
Even
no
when you went to the
answer.
मालूम है.
comps, like
बोलती थी खुद
Akami
बना.
made that big
पता है मेरे
play, and then we got the player comps, and they were like, "Nice guys, yeah."
Yeah, where's the energy? Where's the
Against
hype?
PRX, they're like, "Yeah, we're the best."
Stand up, throw your monitor, get involved. That's what I want to see.
Don't throw your
Binks का तीसरा
monitor.
नाक को नया
We do
चाय
not
बना.
need a
Your
tech
monitor
pause.
at the
I don't want a tech pause.
जो नाम रखे. What
But you're right. We need that energy. The same energy that we saw them walk out on stage with.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe they didn't have the blow up toys this time, so
उसमें क्या
like, I don't know. But
Honestly,
Yeah,
that
but
throw your
it's
monitor
crap.
comment reminded me of those like
What
Insta
is
posts
the-
where it's like you don't want to go to work today.
आप लोग का आवाज
Throw
कम
your
क्यों लग
monitor.
रहा है
नहीं,
क्योंकि
नहीं,
हम लोग
They
का
can't
माइक
see the
दूर
come.
है.
You do not have to work
नहीं.
today. Here we go though. DFM, they're going back to Yoru. Mixing
Hello.
in the chamber, so they've changed quite a lot. It's gonna
बराबर
be
है,
a
बराबर है, मत
multi-senti
कर,
comp.
मत
It's gonna be a little
कर.
bit of a slower style that you've been seeing. You're gonna have to rely
अरे
a
वो
lot
अलग
more
है वो,
on that
बास-
Yoru for
बास
the
वाला
entry
है
tower, but
वो.
also playing a bit more of a pseudo in it because they are just playing the Sova instead
Hello,
of like a
hello,
double
hello,
style
hello.
that's a bit more flexible.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Stand
this
in
chamber's obviously going to want to get the op out, right? That's a huge part of the game plan. GE don't
How's
have
that?
too much to force it off apart from that
Hello?
Sova, so they need to find answers there.
आवाज आ रहा है?
well, let's see if DFM can
थोड़ा भी
stay in the
बोलेगा, mic
game
click
or
करना
if GE is going to get the 2-0 to start off stage one. We're going to send it back to our casters, Achilles
मैंने नहीं किया
and
कुछ.
Paper then to take it away.
देख
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Let's
then,
get ready to
let's-
jump into
Nick.
Pearl. I think the one thing we can all agree
Nick.
on is, yeah, that 13-1 scoring line not going to
Nick,
be something
nah!
that DFM is likely able to achieve once again here versus Global
क्या
Esports.
किया?
But maybe,
Hello,
since they
hello.
you think that, you know, that they're not going to get that again.
Yeah.
I think get 13-0.
Yeah,
That's on the cards, right?
sure, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about it
Very
if
possible.
it happens. I'm quite curious about DFM coming into this map because this is a very different comp from what they ran
Good
against
one,
Paper Rex
I
when they
only get
13-1
after
them.
I get
There's no
volume.
Tejo in here, for
No
example.
sound.
The other thing is, this is G2's comp. This is
What's this
literally
up,
the same
TK?
comp that G2 uses on this map. And so you need to rely on players like
पीछे चलेगा और
Akame
पीछे
to
रहने
do
दो,
their
कोई
best
सीन नहीं.
leave impersonation, shut things down with that chamber, be really proactive on watching the flank,
Let's
taking
go,
mid
baby!
control if
G
they're going to
fighting.
try to mirror that
तेरे को
in
निकालो
any
chat
way.
से मैं.
Because that's something that
Don't
G2
put
does
down,
super well with this composition, is they're really annoying on this attacker side, trying to lock down mid, and you can see GE's already trying to get ahead of it. There's a spot on the Patrick who, there's a flash waiting for Jinboong over towards mid, but they're already out of it.
Scaled quite far forward there in mid.
Hello, Pankudo.
Back away.
Buffering? नहीं, नहीं, नहीं.
He's getting tagged up, avoids getting taken down here. Couple sheriff shots at Patrick, who is down so very low. 8 HP now remaining.
बाप रे, वो बच गया?
Solid damage, but still an opportunity for Patrick to find some impact here in the round.
That's opened up the orb at the very least, though, for DFM. Now they're going to seemingly set up for the B crunch. Although GE has an okay read on this.
Okay.
Trying to play into the smoke, trying to catch DFM off guard, but they paused. They're waiting for the reinforcement. It's a good shot from May.
Finding himself all three players here on this B site.
Deathmatch
Knocks
खेल
him to
रहा है
the
वो.
floor. The rest of the team wraps around through the connector. Spike now planted. Just Yudotan and Poppy
That much खेल रहा है भाई.
try to see if they can do some damage and turn this back into their favor, but a 2v5, quite a bit to ask. Even if it is from these two players. Yudotan though on the corner, snapping with the first shot. Doesn't manage to find a Kame. Chamber on the floor. How much more do you look for before you call it quits and just look to try to die to the spike? Jinbung going to be noted here at Halls, just playing ring around the Rosie, not wanting to give him the opportunity as Yudotan does get tagged up here. Jinbung able to go ahead and snap on, and May pushes forward past screens, gets himself a 4K, and DFM get another pistol round win.
It is really funny to me because this is G2's comp, and DFM has already kind of played it like they do on this attacker side. They're very patient, they're very methodical. I mean, obviously it helps when May is just doing that. Pretty impactful stuff.
I can see.
Another thing that G2 does really well in this composition is they're really ready for trap plays. They're really ready for their opponents to try to catch them a bit off guard, and so is DFM. So Tip of the cap, able to win another pistol round there. Gonna be the outlaw for Kame.
Mobile little recon. Intentional or not.
Intentionally,
it's cheeky to say the least. Nothing going to be noted there at A main. GE, similarly to what we were seeing on Lotus, just very much play this death ball style. So 4 players clustered up on this A site. Poppy on his lonesome. Over here at B at Halls.
Yep, and that outlaw, so good on rounds like this about making sure that flanks are controlled. No cheeky lurks are easily able to get through. And they're just going to keep marching forward towards B. May at the long side, waiting for any kind of contact. They're going to try to squeeze Poppy out. He's just going to slide back in towards the defender side.
Yes.
Tunnels. And yeah, should be kind of a patient play, I would think. Maybe Poppy tries to pop through, gets a couple shots in. Art's got the regen shield though. Now Poppy should just back out.
Yeah, just going to be forced away down to 44.
दोनों में 2 घंटे एक में चैम्बर है ना वो थोड़ा ड्यूलिस्ट वाला है.
Rotations getting ready to come through. Akame able to find one. Yudotan going to be put down here by the outlaw.
बाकी दोनों ड्यूलिस्ट वाले नहीं है ना पैसे.
And Wiley GE likely just going to get clustered up and wait for this spike to go off.
Should be the play.
चैम्बर और यूरू ऐसा है कि
how you drew it up here as DFM.
मार के निकलो वाला. समझ रहे हो?
Able to get some good value out of that outlaw and kind of force the issue in the next round for GE, but they didn't buy up.
बस एक ऑफ भी मिल जाता है.
Anybody bought anything? Just all classics. So
classics across the board.
Should have full armor.
Yeah, so economy's going to be in a pretty stable spot here. Some maybe minor util investments there. You see but either way, spike will go off. DFM will flawlessly carry forward all of this weaponry as we get ready to go into their bonus round, and GE just going to go down to the spike.
All right, really curious now how the game plan opens up for DFM and what GE's responses are going to be.
Come on, positivity.
You're basically forced into a position where you have to buy the full armors. That's the value of this outlaw. That's the value of the chamber on this map. One of the values is that you could put your opponents in economic odd situations. So what is GE going to be able to do? And you know, as DFM, you're going to want to play slow. You're going to want to play methodical with this double sentinel composition. Try to keep GE corralled and try to find that weak side of the map. Kame is trying to get ahead a little bit.
Oh, and the second shot connects. Kelly S. Lucky to be alive. Down to 10 HP. A little bit whiffy there on the start, but still some damage dealt.
Thank you for the membership.
Considering scaling forward and looking for a little bit more.
GE there hiding their players, trying to keep DFM guessing.
Poppy the one trying to hold things down from Art, but shoulder's going to be spotted. It's a little tiny bit of damage through the box. So fake out goes his way. Ultimately, not going to be able to turn away from it, but takes time to go into the astral form. Set up a little bit more util as the drone pushes forward into Art, but it's getting cleared out. They continue to disguise May behind that box. Nebula up, Art going for the bait out. The wall comes up, gets away scot-free. So far,
भाई
DFM
धीरे 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 धीरे
this
करके
very
बहुत pushback कर
methodically,
दिया
very
बे लोग
wisely.
ने.
This was just a rotate as well from Patrick Huji. He just sprinted across to the B site. Right now, that Jet is not here. Trying to counteract. Still though, 3 players trying to grind through here. Push out of the smoke. And just doesn't know which way to look. Jinbung able to find 2 as Kelly has popping mouse. Crystal as well. All falling to the floor. Solid shot. Patrick Hu will find that hit there. But Jen around the back still on these lurks. Comes away with the kill, and Yuratan now with nothing more to be done. Trips the wall, they'll know exactly where he's at. Not really in the spot to go hunting too deep, but this is going to be a bonus conversion. DFM looking absolutely fantastic thus far.
Yeah, and it's taking a lot of, you know, what G2 likes to do on this map and implementing it themselves very nicely. And you said it well, that they're being methodical. They're working through all the util that GE is trying to set up, getting through that. You know, there's a double sentinel on the other side of the map as well. It's a very different looking double sentinel because you have the KJ instead of the chamber. So you have to be extremely
Ishan bhai, thank you for the
thoughtful,
29.
because you can get caught out at a moment's notice by an alarm bot, or you walk over a nano that isn't checked. Things like that can all of a sudden change the destiny of a round. So you got to like what you're seeing from DFM. They seem very ready, very well prepared to kind of dissect and surgically cut apart the defenses that Global Esports wants to put into place. Jinbung there doing a great job. He's been looking really good.
All too casual. To be able to come away with that 3K.
Wing by सकते हो
Now
भाई
just the one
इस्तेमाल
rifle
करो.
carried over here. Staying in the hands of
जीतेगा
Yuratan would seem. Sheriff, everybody else
जी
will have armor purchases, but Minakami is just like, well, I'm just going to keep using this outlaw forever, I guess.
जी जीतेगा.
It's so powerful if you can get some of these rounds going, if you can win that bonus.
ओडिन यहाँ पे यूज क्यों नहीं कर
It
रहे?
makes it so
कर
difficult
सकते
for
हैं
your
A side पे
opponents. You know,
लेकिन.
yes,
लेकिन इतना नहीं
Yuratan
होता.
is going
Counter
to
spam
have
बहुत easy है.
the full armor, but nobody else will. Although, seems like DFM is realizing they left a little bit of space open. Better double check.
A side पे कर
Make
सकते
sure that
हैं.
no one had pushed through towards shops. And they're just going to keep kind of creeping their way forward, but this has allowed GE to get a pretty good read. They haven't had any kind of contact over on the A side, so they can quickly rotate all the way over. Going to use that smoke to get even deeper, set a player into halls. Now, you do have that Yoru, so you have the ability to kind of potentially throw the clone through, throw a flash through, try to clear out that hall's position.
Patrick Hu just spotted the recon. Not getting cleared fast enough through the wall. Kill does come through. It's Kelly S. Tucking away, able to find 2, and suddenly the round is absolutely shifted. Gien will stabilize, finds another, but Kelly S with a 3rd Sheriff shot. Thorn's thrown in, Akame sliding forward over towards screens, making some noise here, but now is all on his lonesome, just that outlaw. Try to keep him in it, but seems like good things for DFM do not come in 4s. Is once again, it's 3 rounds in a row into a thrifty loss. Like the way Lotus ended, Global Esports get themselves on the board.
And this is all about map control. And, you know, with an eco buy, things just kind of fall apart there for DFM, and they're just kind of not calming well, in my opinion, about those halls positions. And they fall apart because of it. And you're not using that Yoru util to clear that hall spot either. So kind of make it easy for Global Esports. You're not anticipating that. And it really works a treat. So another good call, another good round for Kelly S with the MVP on map 1. Spot on Patrick Hu does have the operator. He's going to challenge this. It is an operator as well for Akame. So not liking that he got identified. Didn't want to give them the opportunity to set up any kind of trickery there. So far
That's
forward
the
here.
read, baby. That's the read.
2 players though right around this corner. A high-low setup for Crystal and Poppy.
Take flight.
Crystal there should get the spot.
Check, but they need okay, it doesn't actually check behind the box, but the shot from Akame does not connect either. Just for repeat, a little bit of a jiggle out now, teleport back across. The dimensional drift in from May, just scouting out the A site. Some information gathered. Do they read that he's tucked away here? Poppy scales forward up into that smoke, just sat there quietly. No one to flush him out. The wall still not broken here.
कुछ utils है नहीं
At
अभी.
A main. Things very much get slowed down, but Chien hits a hell of a shot on Crystal. Dead there at Flowers. Kelly S on the repeat. We'll find May. Gets the punish. Art going for this plant. Do they just timing him out of the smoke? Looks like the answer is going to be no, but they are able to find the follow-up off the back. The flash is so damn clean. And now it is all on Jinbung. And only find one. Kelly S. Two huge back-to-back rounds. He nearly pulls off an ace and gets global their second round win.
And they're doing a great job here of keeping DFM guessing. And again, the diligence is sort of there for DFM, but they're not really being cognizant of another stacked smoke push-out. You know, they were able to deal with it in the pistol round, but here in a different spot, they're just not quite ready. May gets caught a little bit off guard, but Kelly S is just all over the place. Great setup with the Vice Flash as well on that push-out. Starting to feel like they can start turning this around. DFM having a rough go of it. Still have enough for another operator. But that is a stinger for Art. They're going to heavily invest. Try to keep that chamber firing. No, Akame was whiffy on that opening shot.
Oh, but he hits the jiggle. Crystal trying to set up, trying to bait Patrick, who had just silently slid in behind the box there at A-main. But a very good shot.
उसको चूहा बोलते थे, उसको चूहा बोलते
थे.
How you can
नैनो से
turn
भी
your
बहुत
attention
पहले
to
आया
other
था.
parts of the map. You still have the Vice Wall to cover that angle if there is any kind of lurk out there. A lot of util to clear through here. The double sentinels.
Flash out on the push this time. Kelly S not going to be given the opportunity to go for the heroics of the previous two rounds.
Zen शायद से
3v5. Shot going wide, a little bit too much movement there from Akame, but either way.
लो हुआ है
Fire for the
वो.
rest of his teammates. They're able to find Yurotan. And that now puts Poppy and Patrick Hu in a bit of a difficult position. Do you really try to play for this one? You know that there's multiple players on the side of TFM that are dangerously close to some critical ultimates. The Cosmic Divide, the Hunter's Fury. And you have an operator in play. Patrick Hu does have a plethora of cash, but seems like the call to save has been made. So DFM not going to be allowing for Global to tie things up quite just yet. Themselves a fourth round win.
Yeah, it's going to be really important that Akame is going to be impactful with those snipers. He's able to find that big opening first kill. Not giving the opportunity for Patrick Hu to trade. Getting that jiggle peek kill, absolutely devastating for Global Esports. And you can see Global always trying to set up these little tricks, these little traps, trying to catch DFM off guard. Worked a couple rounds in a row, but DFM going to get the better of them. Doing a great job being diligent with clearing the util. You know, another trap play set up with the flash outside of mid connector.
अरे कोई भी रहने तो मैच देखो ना इधर valorant चल रहा है बीटल है अल्टा है जेन है
इसको नहीं पता बोल रही हूँ just kind of march their way forward towards the site. That's a big win.
Yeah, a bit more to cheer for there for the DFM fans over in Tokyo. As timeout call will come through here for Global Esports, their first of the series. See what the adjustments end up looking like.
Well, I think you probably want to talk about some of the ults that you're going to have as GE here. You have the Vice ult, you have the Sova ult, so you've got some ability to play retake or to maybe set up another kind of trap where you catch DFM on the execute. So you might want to talk about, okay, how are we going to use our util to try to get the information on, get the read on how we play the round. You know, if you can catch them at the right time, you can throw those couple of ults down, really keep DFM from being able to get a comfortable plant in, or just try to flush them out of a retake setup. But it's difficult, you know, with the Vice ult and with this composition that DFM is going to be running. If they could get a plant down on B or something like that, use those sniper rifles, it could be really, really tricky to try to get some value out of those situations. So a lot to consider, a lot to talk about as GE. They are going to have still have an operator of their own, still able to get the full buy going. Like you mentioned as well, some big ults that are almost in play for DFM as well. So could play for the orb. They're trying to buy a little bit of extra time and space. Get confirmation. Art's gonna, you know, a little bit of damage in the Razor Vines.
अरे मैच देखो ना रे बाबा जब भी आंसर आएगा मैं बता दूंगा इधर हार रहा है.
Looking for that follow-up Thorn, but a little bit deeper, more central to the site here.
Match देखो.
And that to me again signals that this is some kind of trap play to try to disrupt the plant, to try to disrupt the execute. They've got a couple players stacked though. High-low setup, sort of, but drone actually
back, but no, it actually cut. Yeah, it does cut across over towards that B side.
Yep.
And instead, I mean, they just face forward. Crystal eats an immense amount of damage, but Art eating a little bit more. Takes the headshot there from Mutaton, is able to find a kill.
चलेगा एक और Thorn और blind भी है.
Thorn's now going to be popped here, swaying them from pushing forward onto the site.
I'd be very nervous about this if I'm DFM.
Flash out, the pace coming through, and Kelly S able to go ahead and collect two.
Pray.
Now from Crystal just hunting, trying to see what he can find, but he's now just down.
भाई मेरे को लगा जिंगबू ने ult मारेगा
A little bit
करके.
more damage because it's a bit more costly for the side of Global
किसकी तरफ हूँ
Esports.
मैं?
Just that operator hit
Matic!
shot. Anticipates the close angle, doesn't have the op out fast enough, tries to go for a flick, but inevitably will have to go ahead and rendezvous out to safety. The time will dwindle, and the timeout call.
That's the
Global
answer.
Esports will work a treat as they get themselves a third round win.
Yep.
Yep, really like this timeout from Global Esports.
Yeah.
Kind
This
of
is the Chua baby.
similar ideas, but you know you don't even have to use the skill
देखा
garden
तुमने?
from Kelly S because they just found a great timing on the
This is
execute to
it.
just get those kills. So you're still able to keep that in the
Rick.
back pocket to go up against this big ult cycle that DFM has coming into play. Potentially just really rip this app away from them. But you know, I'm kind of starting to get a little bit concerned here for DFM. They're not really kind of reading these trap plays on the A site when they go for it.
नहीं एकदम पुराना वो
That's
टाइम
a
पे
couple
था.
times where it's just a swing out around that box, and Kelly S finds a couple big kills while DFM is walking down that ramp from A-Link.
Jump across.
Patrick
Patrick Hu trying to look for it here. Shots both sides, both going to be going a little bit wide. Both getting away unscathed.
Question ये है कि
Patrick Hu pulls back over towards Halls, maybe considering
वो
a little
मर
bit of a
कैसे
retake,
नहीं रहा है?
but looks like he'll opt to hold the safer angle.
हाँ?
DFM though, no rotations, no thought of really playing around with
मतलब
A.
सब
They're just going to go
कुछ
ahead and really look to
utilize किया
storm their
Patrick
way
भाई
forward
ने.
into the B site before any kind of reinforcements can come through. Trigger gets pulled here on the ultimate. Weapons taken away from the side of DFM here for a brief little moment as Yudotan trying to go up and over the top, but it's going to be
अकेला?
shot there from Jinbong with the classic in hand. Go ahead and finish off the enemy KJ. Drone still guarded now in play. No one going to get caught by that. The Cosmic Divide as well going to be exchanged on both sides, just absolutely dissecting the map, cutting it to pieces, and Kelly S trying to look for a timing, trying to catch them off guard. It's a falling to the wayside. He's in control now here in the hands of DFM, but shock dart at the feet. Decent damage found as May. Flash going deep enough, and that's the last one that he has at the ready. But as the wall falls, it's going to be Crystal. Actually manages to find Gin and May. A 2v3, the drone not going to be finding a damn thing. Star set up for the pool. The recon going to be lobbed in. Quickly cleared as the spam fight begins. And Art wins it out. Another tap from Crystal. But there's just realistically no hope in hell. Would have to be an ace clutch. There's just not enough time for him. Even if he can get the eliminations, he cannot get the defuse. Team ace for DFM.
अच्छा खेला बे DFM.
As they get a fifth round win. Once again, just not allowing for Global Esports to get a tied up scoreline.
Yeah, the patience is paying off for DFM
भाई
again.
मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ सुनो ना.
Just sort of slowly.
भाई देखो एक पॉइंट क्लियर है. जब अपने हिस्ट्री ऑफ द करियर ऑफ जी फाइटिंग में हम लोग ने ऑफ देखा है ना, तब लेफ्ट राइट हुआ है. समझ रहे हो? तो मेरे हिसाब से पैट्रिक भाई ऑफ करो. एक और बार देखते हैं. एक बार
A lot of times it's going to be hard to find
कभी नहीं होता.
those flank
एक और
lurk
बार करो.
angles. Patrick Hu, so aggressive, but the drone to clear.
A very smart drone. Poppy this time able to slide away, not taking any damage. As Jakku just looking for yet another peek, really trying to limit test there. With the tailwind available, but now has to back well off from the angles. As Yudotan pushing forward, trusts that it's going to be a fake out.
I need a stop.
Fall for it. Patrick Hu now going to take a try his luck. Does manage to stabilize that shot.
Did.
He was going to be off, but the hit Jan now dead.
ये होती है भाई sexy
Books
hopping.
taken away from DFM.
And you can see they're setting up sneaky plays on both sides of the map.
All the walls there, and Art is completely trapped in with the spike dropped. Thorns now popped on the opposite side, and Calias just staying tucked back. Reinforcements a world away, but it seems like he likes his odds. No one looking to really join in alongside him in this position. The spot out there, onto one player. Now look at the try to flood and overrun. Still doing well to come away with another.
Patrick
May dead.
bye.
May just taking the time, grabbing the orb, spike in hand. 19 seconds left on the clock. It's just going to be a save for the operator in all likelihood. Or maybe the call says, you know what, we don't need it. I do have a tour de force. Either way, Crystal will push forward and find the kill. Global Esports continue to keep this absolutely neck and neck.
Yeah, and again, it's, you know, kind of a game of cat and mouse between these two teams. Whose trap plays can work better? And when you're able to find that opening pick as Patrick Hu, a really nice play, really high tempo move there. To get up onto the screens, get the shot, and get out. To get that opening kill, send them over to the other side where there is not much information, and DFM doesn't check behind that box. They're pinging it right now on the map because they want to make sure that they don't fall for the same thing twice. There goes that chamber ult, like you were mentioning.
Come on.
Oh my God.
He's starting to warm back up.
Hey.
Another fast peek and kill there for Patrick Hu.
ये लोग का पैसा खत्म कैसे नहीं हो रहा?
Necessarily as devastating as losing Jen. Given the util available.
That's a good spot.
So far, nothing really being allotted over to DFM. GE wanting them to have to really fight to gain any kind of information, any kind of space.
Fighting.
But they've got such a good read on this. There's a deep turret over on B. So that's allowing them to slide to the other side of the map. Kind of cover A a little bit heavier. Helps when you get the spot onto Akame as well. Or Art, excuse me. And things getting a little bit dicey. Crystal gonna get ahead of this wall. Are they gonna be ready?
Waiting for the timing. Spots on the first. Pulls the trigger, finds it. TP having to be taken there by May, but he delivered right into Kelly's hands.
Blind by wo blind.
Akame only able to find one. Art
Tino
down
blind
5
the
HP.
bhai.
It's Global Esports this time. Looks like they will jump the hurdle to be able to tie things up in the map.
Yeah, with Yudotan still in connector. No time to shift to the other side of the map.
10 seconds left.
Might as well just be a save at this point. Grab a gun here for Akame. Sit and spawn and hide and wait this out. I think you need to time out as DFM. Try to reassess some of what's going on. Maybe you've got one of those high tempo executes that you can try to dial in right now. Turn things around. This is just, again, these trap plays. And they're just not really reading the timings of when and where GE players can be when they can push out of those smokes. You know, you just don't anticipate it. And that's really been the name of the game, and the adaptations haven't really always been there for DFM. They can win those opening kills, if they can win some of those opening fights, that's when they're able to kind of really work the map methodically. But Patrick Hu again, trying to get into the cubby. Bit of a bait there by Yudotan. Is May gonna contest that, try to challenge it? Just gonna set up the arc rose, but yeah, okay, TP out, please do not try to go for that angle. That's gonna open up space for Yudotan. He's gonna try to challenge him a bit.
Time to jump.
Okay, dimensional drift considered here. The gate crash goes through. Oh, he gets that ult off just in time. An attempt at clearing the gate crash, not quite going to connect there with the shorty. Spots out both players, gets himself over into Halls. Akame at the same time just pushing forward into the connector there, and Poppy just taken down. TV back out from May now. Pivot. DFM once again turn their sights over towards A.
Revealing area.
Two players nearby. The recon not spotting anybody over at main. Crystal, a quick jump peek there from dugout. On the wall now. Waiting for the swing. Clears the Thorns. Shock dart. Base of the stairs to try to slow up the approach. The Thorns very much locking everyone in place. 27 seconds. Looks like a pivot call is going to be made here from DFM now, sprinting their way towards B.
भाई उड़ोतन के पास 2
still
नेड है.
here. If he can find one from
But
Halls,
anytime.
that lockdown could come out. It's waiting patiently. Footsteps spotted. The shot there. Swinging forward. Interrupts the plant and kills them all. And Art will find one, make it the other, but the time, it's out of their hands.
ये बंदा.
You've done so quiet, so patient, so deadly. Gets GE the round win.
भाई
3 in a
ये
row.
बंदा
To now move up
भाई.
6-5.
And again, the protocols and the kind of awareness is falling apart for
Oh,
DFM.
fuck.
He's going to see those feet right underneath that one-way. Uses the smoke against them so nicely. That was DFM smoke, by the way. And it worked right into Yudotan's hands. And they're not clearing Hall. We've seen this a couple times where they're not dealing with that very crucial position. I mean, you look at the teams that are really good on this map, it's because a lot of it, when they go B, they're clearing that Hall. You know, you see like T1, for example. They're throwing their duelists into that Hall to make sure it's clear. Every single time. You know, Buzz in particular is going to be one of those players who's making sure that that part of the map is theirs. And now you've got an ult here, like you said, for Yudotan.
And used it in the previous round when I thought he might, just to go ahead and ensure it didn't
Twenty
need
नहीं
it.
हुआ ना?
As
Dream Sniper. By the way, everybody's playing good. Everybody's playing good. If I had a hat, I would hat like this and so hats off. Everybody's playing. Udotan is a big W.
the drone from getting too much, but a blind shot still goes through.
Patrick, who is hopping like me? English के बोलो और बताओ.
Quite a bit invested from both sides. It's still going to be global esports.
वो टीम में कोई इंडियन नहीं तो मेरे को
Slightly
समझ में
better
ऐसे
position.
इंग्लिश बात कर रहा था.
Full HP armor across the remainder of these players. Art down to 5.
This has been so slow, though.
30 seconds.
Sorry.
DFM is
I'd like to
really
apologize.
unaware of what's going on in the
They're
map.
fully believing it seems like that this is going to be a hit onto the A site, and Art is he's here to try to sell this one. He's passed the spike over. The wall activated now. Noise being heard here. Kami just basically having a sprint. If he gets interrupted at all,
Jokes.
it would just be the end of the round, but they're still running low on time. 8 seconds remaining.
Crystal
makes it to the site, looking to go for the plant. Shock dart. Attempted to bounce, not able to find it. The sun spike does get planted. It's in play. 3v3, 3v2 is Art.
5 HP पे मारा
On the
8
linger.
ने.
Finds the IGL of Global. Thorns popped. Stopping any attempt at a Hall's push. Coming to get a little bit more damage. Jinbung. Last unscathed player is Crystal.
No, participate.
Finds himself a third. 5 HP. They almost line up for him. But it's going to be Poppy left standing as Global get themselves a 7-5 half. This is after DFM convert the bonus. What a run back.
Let's go.
Switching sides.
Yeah, they're just doing a great job of getting the read on things. I mean, so far, I'm really stoked about the way Kelly S is running the ship. He is just captaining GE so nicely, and they are just keeping DFM guessing. You know, DFM trying to make some cheeky moves, Art trying to sell that they went over to A when they're actually doubling back towards B. That gets them the plant, but then they kind of spread and they're not able to win some of these 1v1s. But in general, just GE has a lot of these cool, cheeky ideas that, you know, this comp is actually kind of built to sort of deal with. G2, that's when I was watching them, you know, in the lead up to Masters, when I was watching them at Masters, that was something they do really well. You know, EDG would try to throw all these kind of trap plays, and they just kind of handle it nicely because you've got a couple TPs, you've got some ways to kind of handle some of that pressure, but DFM doesn't have those protocols built in yet. They were getting caught a lot of the time and not really able to keep control of that information game often. It was really GE who was ahead in that regard.
अरे एक पे पार्टी वाला म्यूजिक क्यों लगाते हैं पता नहीं.
Right now, DFM needing to be the ones who are following the instructions on the sign. Widely quieted after the start of this
पंगा
match.
क्या है? पंगा राइट इवेंट है मेरी जान के टुटे.
Patrick, who the one who's widely been filling this arena with noise. And I will not claim to speak Tagalog, but something tells me he's had some choice words thrown out in some of these post-round replays. But given the way that he's been playing, hey, you've absolutely earned it.
no doubt. He
Yeah.
has just been stellar
Yeah,
today in every aspect. May
Yeah.
third
only
map
been
na
able to TP
jaye.
out. Trying to bait a
नहीं
bit
जाएगा
for
तो भी
Akame,
चलेगा
but
टाइम है.
he got spotted. Turret there as well, so not really a ton.
But say.
Would have been a hell of a
अरे मैं
shot.
किसके तरफ?
Rendezvous back into the corner, but they should know pretty much exactly where he's
Shot
gone.
देखने का था
So
बस
for now,
crazy वाला समझ रहा और कुछ.
sort of just pinned. Honestly, Crystal could just go for a double shock dart. Trying to flush him out, but as the nebula comes up, he will be able to reposition.
Brain lag 2 घंटा सोए हो ना? पकड़ा गया G5.
Trying to set up a crunch play in towards B Link. May and Art trying to cut this off. They're gonna have to cede control of the B side over. They can get this flank under control. Could still be good.
Art able to find one Poppy.
स्टैंडर्ड में सारी लड़कियां दुनिया की तेरे
Drags it
स्कूल
out.
में थी.
Takes a little bit of damage as May looks for a timing. Seeing the shock dart fly. Cannot confirm the kill, and Poppy's just holding down the door.
Cheeto, Papi, Papi,
1 for 1 on the map in pistols. 2-2 in the series. Global Esports now with a 3-round lead.
Yeah, if that trap play doesn't completely eliminate GE's flank, if they don't have 2 players there, if it's just the one, you know, then May could feel a lot more comfortable to swing down, but they're just reading DFM at every twist and turn. May stuck in a bad spot, had to go for a hero play, couldn't convert. And GE looking like they might just take this map pick of DFM away from them, get some revenge from kickoff. DFM was able to take them down, tap the orb, and
बस मैं जाने वाला टोरंटो मास्टर्स आप भी आ जाओ यार फिलहाल प्लान्स नहीं है यार.
Good kill for Yudotan.
अब जाओ.
Catches Jinboom just out on the side on B.
लेकिन तुम लोग जितना लोग जा सकते हो एक्चुअल में जाओ मेरे को देखने को अच्छा लगेगा.
Binks the Jinx.
I'll see it back, but
guys 10,000 लोग देख रहे हैं लाइक करो.
looking. And he advantages. Very nice.
थोड़ी देर बाद भी कर सकते हो.
May finds Kelly S.
गर्ल्स स्कूल में था क्या बीच by the love you both love you यार.
Call expecting this push here
बहुत
on the
कह रहे
A
बहुत
site,
सी के.
as Yudotan continues to scale forward, could just go ahead, sign out for the rest of the team, signal to them. This B site widely is opened up. It seems like the FM are acknowledging this potential timing though. Thought of a pivot back, but
करते मुश्किल जीना मेरा पसीना.
I don't know if maybe some footsteps got heard by Akame or something, but I thought maybe GE was too far for that. It's just hard to say.
30 seconds left.
What convinced them that it was in fact A? They're going to know here in a second.
yeah, they are.
टैक्सी
And
के
there's the
लिए
bad
हाँ.
news. 4-player group up, 4
किसको
headhunter
बोला
bullets in the
अच्छी
hands here
करके
of
समझा.
Akame.
हाँ कल जो आपने 2 घंटा स्ट्रीम किया
A
है.
little bit more damage here, perhaps. Pulling off
I
the
love
thrifty.
Valo बोलो
It's the way
टोरंटो
that
में भी.
GE's been playing.
मारा जाएगा. I love Valo
Not
यार.
impossible here for them, and they might even really try for it.
खुशहाल बेटी भाई मैंने
Some picks
सच्ची
onto
में
the
बोला
exiting
आज
players,
तक मैंने
perhaps.
कभी
Akame
10,000
swinging out, tail went over the side.
अमेरिकन
Updraft
दिनार
from
नहीं
Patrick
देखे.
Coops trying to stay a little bit more elusive here. It's tiny bits of
मेरा
damage.
पापा भी
Okay, eventually
beaten
will
दिखा.
get taken down. May finds
Okay.
Yudotan.
हाँ,
Okay.
hello,
The
hello.
time not really going to be there. It's just all about damage from here on out. Seems like that
Big
might just be the end
fan,
of it,
big
and it
fan,
is.
baby,
2
big
players
fan.
surviving. Once again, not too
We
bad
take
here.
those.
The damage dealt. Global Esports get themselves up to 9 all the same. A massive
मेरा
win
नजर
streak
हमेशा
now
तेरे पे रहता है.
across the 2
excuse me.
hats.
Yeah, you're really going to need to have a little bit of that and more. Just a jiggle peek. No smoke was even up.
Binks भाई
Long range
360
gunfire.
लगते हैं और पिंकी दी
Working a treat.
360
A
ऐसा
bit of
क्यों?
Astra util in there for good measure. Not that it
मेंबर ने
was
लिखा है ऐसा.
really needed,
Time for a field
but you're not able to carry much over.
Yeah,
Guardian,
better,
Bulldog, and you got to buy up a little bit. Stinger, Sheriff, Ghost. So GE here with weak weaponry.
वो हेटर बुला है ना लेकिन.
Challenge this mid position.
बुला है ना हेटर प्रणव मैं ना सेता है.
Holding
ये
down.
सी
तेरा hit.
Rendezvous at the ready is going to have to be Johnny on
Hey.
the spot with it. Finds the first, overstays though. It's out for a little bit more. Not necessarily
दो मार
anticipating that it was going to be a 3-player push in from Art.
भाई अपना ट्रेड एकदम क्रेजी है.
Speaking of,
माफ कर माफ कर.
इतना क्रेजी नहीं है.
crossfire
इतना क्रेजी नहीं.
on the side, able to
Shout
find
out आ
one.
रहा है.
Patrick
Shout
who
out आ
going
रहा
to
है.
be
Shout
put
out आ रहा
down.
है chat.
माफ.
Solid advantage gained here for the side of TFM as they need to prevent this bonus conversion.
ना करो ऐसा.
Trying to right the ship. Gian, tiny bit of damage there on the crystal, but unable to find the headshot.
And they're just kind of waiting this out. Art's got to be so careful. If he can't win a 1v1 against Poppy coming out of Link, this could be very fruitful for GE.
Oh, he just pushes up into the smoke.
That's one way to deal with it.
He's able to play off the damage previously set there on the crystal, so finds that kill, giving his life to the cause. DFM from here can't really afford to have any more players lost.
इधर तो कर ही नहीं सकता, heavy spam.
There's 20 seconds remaining. Kellyas is still able to find a kill. May going to be taken down. Swing out. Jinbung dead. All on Gian. And Poppy is instantaneous with a headshot.
Oh my God, Crispy.
Bonus is converted. The streak continues. Global Esports. Absolute domination. 7 rounds in a row.
Just a great idea there to overstack that angle. You know, force that chamber into a bad position. You have to TP after that first kill or else you're in trouble potentially. Doesn't happen. And then this position here on A, he has no help. He has to either win the battle at A link against Poppy if Poppy pushes that angle, or just do what he did and just kind of die for the cause there to try to slow GE down. But then that opens up the site for GE. They're able to get the plant, get into post plants. You know, there's no real backup and coordination in that position for DFM. Need to work through some of these defensive setups a little bit more, in my opinion, to make sure that you know there's backup ideas there. There's something else other than get the one and done. You need a little bit more coordination. We've seen a lot of that from GE today. They've been doing a great job.
Oh. This time Akame not going to be able to find the headshot. Yuratan taking him down. Quick little jiggle peek out. May does find the follow-up headshot. Potentially recover the weapon, but for the moment does not have any kind of game crash set up to try to rejoin over on this A side a little bit faster. Does manage to find one, dodges the shock. It's about the re-peek, but Elias just strafing over. Finds the kill.
भाई कुछ ज़्यादा अच्छा तो खेल रहा है बेजी. He fired.
Just trying to hold them in place.
क्या हुआ मेरे सिस्टर को खुला धमकी दे के
drone to try to check May. Don't believe he gets caught by this one. And the second shot is going to find Poppy. Crystal over there for the punch. Comes away with the kill. Full flash there on Kelly S. Forces him into the back of dugout.
समझ रहे?
Just realistically, what do you try to do from here?
कल का बेट से
the thorns, but quickly cleared the
recon.
Over the top, they're just trying to get some kind of eyes on him. But Crystal inside the corner comes up with 2. And Global Esports are now just 2 rounds away from closing out this series and slamming the door in DFM's face.
I love these post-plan ideas from Global Esports. That positioning with the spike causes a shock dart to miss, so they can get the spike down without taking any damage, and they can play this post plant because they've got control over Secret, set up a crossfire with dugout, and make it really, really challenging for DFM to try to break that open. A really nice on-the-fly idea.
WJ, yeah.
You do have Maze ult here. You have the operator for Akame, so has to be turned around right now for DFM. That's almost all of your cash invested in this. You know, yeah, you've got enough for another buy in the next round, more or less, but
time and
money on their side. Just waiting out, gonna get ahead of that wall, maybe, nope, just one.
Patrick Who's up over the top, catches a glimpse there. May eating some damage, eating a death. Eventually the kill is found. Jinbung took here into the corner, thought maybe he'd go for the spray, just try to get the wallbang shot on the Kelly S. Now attempting it, but the spike is already in play. The plant is there, and now there's a cosmic divide staring them all in the face.
कैसे करेंगे retake एक op के साथ 4v5?
Well, they're all going to group up and try to push from the other side of this cosmic divide. Could have created a flank angle, but
this is where you would love to have the dimensional drift still at the ready. Push out though. Wow. Quick peek from Jinbung, able to find one, but Kelly S situated up close. Gets rid of Gian Art, falling moments before. 2v3. You have this op in play. The time is not on your side. Surely DFM, you have to get out of here. Consolation prize perhaps as the tap does allow you to draw up this Hunter's Fury. But this round, this map clearly is not yours. Global Esports will get up to match point.
जिंक्स मत कर, नहीं जीत सकते थे वो लोग रन, बहुत टफ था भाई.
It's difficult to watch this because this DFM team looks scared. They look like they're not confident in some of their decisions. They're not creating flank angles. They're not trying to work against the ults of their opponents. And I would say if you're going to stack up behind this Cosmic Divide, you make a great point here, Achilleos, that not only do you not have Maze, but you don't have the flashes either to try to break through to the other side of that Cosmic Divide. So you need to create flank angles there. You need to go through art and clear that, and then try to make your retake. Instead, they just try to go for a kind of a flood play. Just gets shut right down. Plus, there's the Cosmic Divide there. Okay, that's not great for Akame.
And there's no exit.
Nope.
Flick misses. Ron and not go out. They're just trying to reposition art desperately. Really hunting here for a kill and will be rewarded with one.
Casual moment. Casual.
And that's the smoke's gone. That makes this round, in theory, quite a bit easier. But Patrick, who's so far forward, aren't able to outduel him. That's a big win for DFM.
Now into a 3v4.
भाई गलत है बे. वो बंदा 100 भी क्यों खेलेगा जब वो आर्क है?
Not gonna be dead quite just yet, but is whittled away at down to 40 HP. Making this a bit more unlikely to be the conclusion of the map, but
they have no idea.
He's got different ideas. How patiently does he play it is going to be the question here. GN at the same time able to find Kelly, so now he knows that he's running out of time. Spots the first player, but love to go a little bit deeper, get some more information, but instead we'll just settle for killing the Jinbook here at Flowers. Now invests the lockdown.
Oh, and that alarm bot, so smart.
The swing around the back, the fake out, catching a shot. GN able to find the kill there. But the detain, it manages the strike. Crystal comes away with one. May still here, sending out the flash. The time is just not going to be on his side. They play it wisely. DFM not overstepping here. They'll get themselves another round victory, breaking a huge win streak from the side of Global Esports, and ensuring that this series does not come to an end quite just yet.
Is that 9 in a row? Is my math right?
Yes.
Cool. I mean, it takes these opening kills with a Hunter's Fury to essentially turn this round on its head, and still Yudotan almost makes a brilliant play there. Again, on the fly, unorthodox stuff, but I love the way he uses that alarm bot so that he can cut towards Secret to make sure that he can, you know, he knows he's outmanned in that situation, and using that alarm bot as an extra person, basically. Smart stuff. Doesn't work out, but, you know, with that dimensional drift available for May, but you're able to bait that out. So plenty of time here, plenty of rounds to work with for GE. Up and over with the blades, doesn't get much.
I'm at the ready, May able to find one.
I know
escapes the gate crash, but down the 9 HP. Push forward, Art just gonna be absolutely massacred as Kelly is so far in, popping out. Finding GN and it's starting to unravel. Spike gonna be planted. Ult invested, weapons taken away. May dropping down out from Flowers. Kelly S having to backpedal, shifts away, but Jinbook out of the Nebula. Tommy clearly just not quite registering it. Ends up getting eliminated, but two players are so very low, and somehow May survives. He's in with a headshot, Crystal. No util to speak of. You can see the frustration there in the player cam, realizing that it's just not worth for him to try to fight this one out. The fuse comes in, DFM. Find themselves a 7th round victory.
Yeah, so this time, well, you're able to stop the Blade Storm from really doing a ton there. Kelly S trying to break the site open. Him and Poppy doing a good job, but this time around DFM coming from a couple of different angles, and May just holding the line at Secret there. You know, GE kind of feeling pretty confident. Again, they have some rounds to play with, so they're allowed to try to push towards Arc like Yudotan did. Try to push towards Secret. Yeah.
This occurred to me that they still have 2 timeouts.
Who does?
DFM. They haven't used a single one. GE's the only one that's timed out on this map.
Oh.
Might come to
I guess you're right. I hadn't realized that either.
All right, well, a loss of May. Akame able to go ahead and find Patrick Hu, so a trade on the duelist, but Akame down to 10. As things grind to a halt here. We just see what they can figure out around Art, but not much being gained here.
My ultimate's ready.
Strong spots out one. Kelly S now ultimate going to be online. Might just pull the trigger on
ये
that.
राउंड
Once
आ गया
this
जी पे.
Vice wall is gone on B.
Arts में यहाँ पे Art बैठा हुआ है.
Just gonna use that steel guard.
Pushes Art forward.
So smart.
Yutan is there. Ready to find that elimination. Jian holding the door, however, Jinbung says, I got a classic, that's fine. Buy the bundle, baby. Peeks in, Yutan gonna dig it down now. The spike is stranded. All three players stacked up. GE would have to just brawl their way through this.
Clear on
the flash, headshot, instantaneous. Jinbung with the 3K
King
cleanup.
I love you, मेरी जान के
DFM
टोटे. I hope
still
you
afloat.
have best life ever. I hope you grow a lot. Don't worry.
I love the
जब भी
idea again
exams
from
होगा,
GE.
top
Using
करेगा.
that ult to flush players out, but
जब भी बीवी ढूंढेगा सुंदर सी
fortunately,
एक बीवी मिलेगी.
GN, whew,
जॉब में
there have been some
promotion पे
snappy
promotion
shots from
एक साल पे
DFM, but
double
the
promotion
game
करेगा.
plan
Tension ना लो.
Widely has been
I am with you.
much better
अभी ये सब मैं believe
for
नहीं करता.
GE. And who's actually taking the timeout? Who actually pulled the trigger here?
It's Global Esports.
It's Global, yeah, they're using their second. Still
Clearly.
2 for DFM.
Not feeling quite as confident, perhaps, on the closeout here as they were on Lotus.
ठीक है. Tension ना
We
लो.
didn't have to really see any intervention this time. Calling for the pause. Wanting to ensure that they are able to bring this to a conclusion. Not let DFM take this all the way into overtime.
भाई डर का माहौल हो रहा है.
Very curious. You know, this can be one of those rounds. Can't quite remember what the economy's looking like here for GE, but try to go for something.
I believe it's not in a great spot.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was feeling.
Here's the biggest concern for me.
Excuse me?
Start of the map, bonus conversion comes in. 3 in a row for DFM.
Yeah.
Lose to a Thrifty.
That's correct.
How many rounds in a row have DFM just
क्या
won?
ज़माना आ गया भाई. अच्छा बोलो तो
And
वो
GE's
कर
on
रहे हो
Thrifty.
मेरे को.
Attempt.
So
Surely,
you're reading the tea leaves here.
surely
Yeah.
it doesn't end like this.
Uh-huh. You say that. I mean, you've got an operator, you've got a couple ults, you've got a dead operator.
That's
Dead
a
up.
scan,
Patrick Hood is over the
baby.
top. That hero rifle trades it out for the operator. Cloudburst covering fire. Obfuscation there as Jen will do well to go ahead and ensure that remains on the floor.
भाई ऑप का कुछ तो है बे.
Well,
अपना ऑप का कुछ तो.
Now he's got problems.
And is able to get away, not taking any damage.
Fortunate timing on that jiggle peek, but it does seed the operator back over to Kelly S this time. Change of directions, change of ideas. Art and May trying to set up just a check there, getting some info, but it's actually a step ahead of where GE was coming. So Art all on his own here. There's no one else anywhere near this.
And he is in such a committed position with nothing to play around with, nothing to really work for him. The recon not used, hits the first shot, hits a second, and that might just be enough. Cosmic Divide now going to be called out, but already Yutan pushing well past that.
30 seconds left.
Could be widely unconcerned. He looks to flood a little bit deeper, fight forward. Cannot find more. Crystal now. A 1v2. The up in hand, the tap of the spike. Now we'll commit in for the plant itself. As the Cosmic Divide has dissipated. The peak and May. Pre-firing the angle, we'll find the headshot, and this time, DFM will not allow it to happen. See, I was right. And that's going to be them now getting up to 9.
You can't admit, though, that you weren't not worried a little bit.
Oh,
at moments during
as soon as Hakame died.
अरे चैट में वो नकली फेक
It's
वाला.
like, how have I done this?
अरे फेक वाला.
It definitely felt like it, but great stuff here from Art. I mean, we see these moments from DFM, but the bigger picture seemingly mostly in GE's favor. But 4 in a row for DFM. Not giving up.
Needing to make it 7 to get this into OT.
Doable. Got a couple. You've got, well, one all that really matters. since you have the dimensional
Hater left
drift.
the chat हो गया.
Check with the drone.
ये तो hater left the stream ही हो गया मेरे साथ.
There's no one peeking to try to clear it here for him. So we'll just have to send the shots. So
भाई दो
operator
टिप्पी
going to
मारने
be
वाले बंदे
identified.
बैठ दे यहाँ पे मत जाओ. जी
Needs to
भाई
be able to
मेरा
get out
आवाज
of
आ रहा
here
है मत
if
जा.
things go sideways. The drone shoves them back a bit. The start popped. Not going to go for a timing shot. They all drift across. The swing out tries to hit the hospital flick, but this time we'll be able to get out unscathed.
Now that's a tough play.
भाई ये कितना मस्त
Job
है
by
बे
GE
लोग का
there
ये
to at
पिलर.
least break that angle
हाँ,
open. But
1-1.
this is kind of opening up the rest of the map for
3-1-1
them.
sexy
There's going to be
है
the
बे.
wall that Yudotan, see if he pops it or not. He just pinged it out. Hasn't opted. I don't think he got it to go just yet. I'm not sure, but they're just waiting now for the reinforcements. I want to make sure that every position is clear here.
रिटेक के लेंगे ना
You have
जितना
the
होता गोली
cosmic
मारेंगे
divide, so
फिर
maybe
retake
just
के
going to set it
लेंगे.
up to cover the front of the site. That's my guess.
Gate crash from May just expiring. Going to be a little bit further away as Patrick Hu looks for the opener. Finds it. Jinbong going to be taken down.
Blue entry.
Site widely opened up, 20 seconds remaining on the clock to push forward. Crystal going for the plant. Thorn set up.
भाई W entry. Oh fuck, so ulti पे आ गया.
Still
GG.
strong here for the side of G as they look to
GG
bring this
baby,
series to
let's
its
go.
end.
Net Sova ulti pull. अगर ये हारा ना मैं नंगा
Original drift
नाचने
out,
के लिए
May
ready हूँ.
Scouting,
अब
calls.
भी
Knows
का
Patrick
अभी मैं
Hu's on the corner. Akame able to hold the line, finds the first, now brings it back into a 4v4. Time working against them. The swing up from Yudotan faces back in towards mid. Arc going to be eliminated. Jien off screen, able to find Kelly S and May. Flushes out Yudotan, the Hunter's Fury to try and delay. Jien going to be taken down. Poppy saved up, and look at the damage. Both of them eating the hit. As May, he dies, but the defuse is there. Akame doing his best. Sylvan comes away with a round win. DFM 2 off, taking us now into overtime.
I mean, this looked like this was game, set, match for GE. Patrick Hu gets the opening kill. Then things kind of start to crumble a little bit. Yudotan there, able to be cleared out of ARP. I mean, there was so much post-plant utility. I mean, you had Nanos, you had the Astra, you had the Vice util, you had the Hunter's Fury. I thought for sure GE was just going to be able to kind of scrape by on that. But again, DFM is getting more active on the map. They're coming from more angles on these retakes. And that started to get them these round wins that they so desperately needed. It's kind of made it a lot more difficult for GE to just post up into their post-plant positions. And they're able to clear out players fast enough to just barely squeak through with a round win. Now push towards Art, trying to overstack this A-side angle. GM's like, I've been here before. And this is something that GE's been dipping into to win rounds.
बाथरूम में वो माइक पकड़ा नहीं मेरी बात.
Main in behind the box, the trademark going to be cleared out over towards Art. The lockdown in play. Sights in towards main once again, but tell Kelly S very suspicious about this position, but isn't going to confirm anything here. The jiggle peek out, the shoulder spotted. The shot flies, but Akame cannot find the punish. A world away from his rendezvous. As the flood gets ready to come through. Nice flick, finds one. Crystal can take it down. The redraw on the op, and Patrick Hu is dead. Tries to find this final flick, cannot make it happen, but Kelly S is the last one standing. Is my god DFM.
ये क्या language है राहुल भाई?
You look at the money here
ये
for the
तो
side of Full
language है.
Esports. A full loss bonus. But it's just Kelly S slowly slipping away with the op in hand. And DFM getting this one round away from an overtime.
This is quite the map. What looked like it was just going to be GE kind of running away with this series. Could have an overtime. Well, okay, Kelly S.
It's calling like he's so low.
Get him.
The operator will be retained.
I mean, what a play here.
भाई वो impossible
From
होता
Akame.
यार.
Stuck on A main. GE knows it.
The first one was great. The second one I couldn't believe.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's just.
हाथी भाई.
He's like, I'm peeking, I'm shooting, and I'm moving back, and I'm just going to keep swinging side to side until they take me out. He does a great job with it. That saves their round life. I mean, GE not doing the wrong thing in that situation. They got to clear that position, but just got outplayed. The timeouts be damned. DFM might just send it into OT.
And Art's got an Odin.
मरने तो नाचेगा हाँ बाथरूम में.
Will this be the tool that gets them into overtime and gets them an opportunity to still yet extend this series over towards split?
I like that from Art. Kind of recognizes that might be a bit of bait from GE. You know, G's been doing this so much. He kind of recognizes that they might overstack this angle again, so better get out of there and just wait this out. Still have the Hunter's Fury as well for Art, so he's getting into what I suspect is a position to try to find some value out of that. TP being sent out by May to try to cover over towards the A site. Top of the wall here. This is the old T1 play-ish.
And Poppy has to be the hero. The one to get them some information, try to sell.
Retake wala scene hai.
Art starts drifting his way back over. Hunter's Fury is available to try to interrupt the plan. Stay on one forward, they get themselves here onto the site. They're on the nano. Hunter's Fury going to be coming in, but it's going to be late. Now having to assess and try to spot out these players. The updraft out in the window, shot somehow not connecting. Akame nearly able to find it. Got battle, however, the shot connecting. Jim get down to the fadeaway from Patrick, who gets rid of May.
Patrick,
somehow, some way. DFM now very much on the back foot. Swing on the corner, Akame, the last one left standing and not for long. Close but no cigar. Global Esports do not allow for DFM to run it back, to take it into overtime. They close out Pearl 13-11, and they take their opening
Not
series
clean,
here.
but we'll take those.
Stage 1.
Oh, what a final round there for Patrick, who welcome to VCT Pacific. Big win here for Global Esports as they looked phenomenal through most of this match, to be frank. I mean, only that run back from DFM really had them on the ropes. It felt like, you see Kelly S very excited.
एक सेकंड भाई कितने लोग हैं भाई 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 दो टीम भेजा है ऋषि सर आपने वहां पे 2 टीम भेजा है ये तो लीक्स था
Stage 1 ahead of them.
I'll tell you what, if Patrick, who he's going to keep having moments like that, yeah, I mean, I'd say the overall Pearl a little bit wobbly.
Find
moments when the tension is at its highest. And now that this guy was able to travel over to Korea, get his visa,
1 2
spoil
3
him.
4 5 6
I want more of that.
7 इधर
Lord.
3
You
जन
gotta
को
hold
पीछे
on to
ऑफिस
him,
में जा
treat him like royalty.
2 जन वहाँ राइट में कॉर्नर में क्लैपिंग्स कर रहे हैं
Incredible.
नहीं
Well,
3 जन राइट में
we'll get ready
क्लैपिंग
to
कर रहे
hear
हैं एक वहां से गया
from one of
भाई
these
11
players on the
बंदे
side of Global Esports, see how it feels being able to
Hello?
rack up this win off the start. I mean, again, we talked about how important it was to be able to find this victory here at the start of this group. Given where they're at, given who their opponents are going to be, for DFM, a solid rally back.
अरे एक फ्रेम में नहीं आ सकते बहुत बंदे भेजे वहां पे
Unfortunately, not going to be enough to take us over towards split. And with that photo, we'll send it down to the stage where Jen's going to be standing by for our victory interview.
Huh?
Congrats, GE now. I'm looking for Patrick. Patrick, all right, come over here, Patrick.
पैट्रिक बोलते पैट्रिक भाई आप 1 साल बाद आए फिर भी टॉप फ्रैग नहीं बिंक्स भाई अच्छा खेलते हैं लव यू थैंक यू मत करो आप बकचोदी कर रहा हूँ अभी बोल रहा हूँ
축하드리고요. 우선 이
उसके
정체성에
वजह से
대한
जीते हैं अभी याद
질문부터
रखना
해야 될 것 같습니다. 이름이 본명이 마크입니다. 그럼 도대체 패트릭은 누구일까요? Now, Patrick who? Here's the biggest question of tonight. Who is Patrick? I mean, your name's Mark.
It was just a random name that I use back when I'm competing tier 2 in Philippines.
भाई इतना
필리핀에서
सीरियस
그냥
क्यों है
튜브 리그를 뛸 때
루시 भाई
그냥
काट
아무
के दो ना
이름이나
इसको एक
랜덤하게
स्माइल तक
고른 게
नहीं कर रहा है वो
패트릭이라고 하고요.
बहुत सीरियस है
이름은 마크입니다. 자, 드디어 퍼시픽 무대에서 경기를 치를 수 있게 됐습니다. 오늘 전반적으로
भाई
어땠는지부터
serious है
소감
यार।
들어보고 싶네요. Now, you're finally here. We're happy to have you here perform on the stage. But how was it for you? You know, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Got delayed a little bit. And are you happy with how you performed tonight?
No, I'm not happy. I'm Patrick. बोल दे
It was fun playing on stage, but I'm not satisfied on what I showed today. So yeah, I will make sure that I will perform better next match.
재미는
वेट
있었지만
कर
아무래도 첫
लेंगे 3 साल वेट कर दे
경기다
तो और
보니까
क्या
좀 경기력에 스스로
वेट कर लेंगे
만족스럽진
कोई सीन
않지만 다음에 더 좋은
जीत
모습
गए बस
보여주기 위해서 열심히 할 것 같다고 얘기를 하는데요. 그도 그런
नर्वस
게
है
사실
ऑब्वियसली रहेगा
스펙상으로는
यार
또
ऑब्वियसली
요루를
रहेगा
처음으로 대회에서 꺼낸 거기도 하고 이 테오 브리치 메타에서 이 요루의
क्या है
역할이
मत
워낙
करो
중요하다 보니까 부담감도 많았을 것 같은데 이런 부담감에
मत करो
대해서는
यार
어떻게 느꼈는지 물어보도록 하겠습니다. Yeah, well, you had a lot to do. I
सुपर
mean,
मिस
coming straight
कौन
into
सा
the
सुपर
Teho
मेरे
Breach
को वही नहीं
meta,
दिख रहा
playing
है
the Yoru, and stat-wise, if I'm correct, it's your first time playing the Yoru in the officials. So, you know, you have to be the one with that pressure to create that space for the team. Was there a sense of pressure for you or a sense of nerves, considering that it was your first game with the team on?
ना ज्यादा ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं था क्योंकि 1.5 साल 1 साल अब मैं रुक के स्पेस ही दिया टीम को तो मेरे को ज्यादा दिक्कत नहीं था आज भी मैंने स्पेस दिया टेंशन नहीं है मेरे को इसी के साथ गाइस मैं जा रहा हूँ आदियोस चैट में पादियोस मेरे को एक और स्ट्रीम करने के अभी 15 मिनट के अंदर तो या सी इन द नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम मेक श्योर टू लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब और सुनना है जाओ ऑफिशियल चैनल पे जाओ मेरे को इसके बाद और 2 स्ट्रीम्स करना है फिर एने भी करना है ठीक है सुनने दे थोड़ा सुनने दे
Of course, you guys are looking good, but Group Alpha looks stacked. So how far do you think this iteration of G can go?
बस इतना ही सुनने का था चलो 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 गाइस बाय 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 मिलते हैं 15 मिनट में मिलते हैं ठीक है बाय बाय मुझे वहां पे भी अपडेट देंगे बाय आरसीएम क्या बोले ऋषि सर रिबेल अबे मेरे को एक बात बताओ तुम लोग को एक ये नाम दिख रहा है क्या बे 8bit_ रिबेल करके एक फेक बंदा दिख रहा है क्या मेरे को एक बात बताओ भाई जो बंदा एसी12 में है जिसके नाम में 8 बिट रिबेल है तुमको लगता है 150 का मेंबरशिप नहीं ले सकता ये है कि जमाने में ना बहुत फेक लोग आ गए मार्केट में ओह निकलो समझ रहे हो मेरा भाई का नाम कॉपी मत करना निकलो यहाँ से चलो फकिंग एआईस फेक भाई हाँ चलो गाइस बाय 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 आदियोस शेड में पादियोस आ रहा हूँ 15 मिनट में वापस स्ट्रीम करने ठीक है ना हरा में भी 600 गिफ्टेड मिले कल फिर भी देखो बूंद बूंद से सागर भाई का भरता है ठीक है चलो 15 मिनट में मिलते भाई बक्चो दिन यार मेरे को बहुत स्ट्रीम करना है मेरे को आज बाय बाय